Yes, guys. Big up, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. This is the Liverpool show. Hope everyone's doing well today, guys. So obviously, I haven't been around for a few days. I haven't actually done a video since Thursday, guys. Actually, I haven't done a video since Thursday. So on transfer deadline day. So obviously, I've had some time off. Been spending it with the kids and the family, and I've been up to see Penny for a few days at the hospital. So I've not been around. But I'm glad I haven't been around in a way because I would have been probably a bit reactionary to the Liverpool game, and yeah, I would have been a bit reactionary to the Liverpool game, guys. So I'm glad I've had time to take my time and look at it. But yeah, we've got things to say though. I've got things to talk about today, guys. Got quite a lot to talk about. Things I need to speak upon that I haven't had my time to speak upon yet. But yeah. It should be, there might be a rant or two. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up, Cav. Cav, the link is in the Twitter DMs, my man, if you want to join in. That intro woke me up. Yeah, I'm trying to work on an intro. So I don't know if you guys enjoyed that intro. Let me know in the chat. I'm trying to. Yes, Jamrock's back. There you go. Jamrock is back. How you doing, Jamrock? Hope you're doing well. Big up 6 times as well. Ricky in the house, Captain Sal, Brianna, FSG, big up my man. Hope everyone's doing well. Joyce, Stephen, Daz, Anissa, how you doing? Ryan in the house as well. The Doug's in as well. Levy84's in. Big up to everyone in the chat right now. Big up to every single one of you. Bless that. Thanks very much. Yeah, I don't know what happened, Jamrock. I've got to say, I don't know who did it. It weren't me, my friend. It weren't me. I'll let you know that right now. It weren't me, but I'm glad you're back. That intro was great. Big up. I'm not happy, but I'm not surprised to stay back. Robbie D in the house. Big up, Robbie D. How you doing, my friend? We got John in the background. I'm going to get John in soon. Big up to everyone. So yeah. Yeah, no worries, Cav. No worries. I'll join in a bit, mate. Just finish some bits up. No worries. They should blast that intro into the Liverpool dressing room and wake them all up. Yeah, I do like my. You might not know this, but I do like my my heavy rock and metal. I've got to say, heavy metal, heavy rock. That is my jam. I know you wouldn't. Nah, no worries, Jamrock. No worries. You're on a man. Jamie, can you please DM Doug with FPL Champions League pin? Okay, mate. Jay, hope you and family okay with sounding. Of course, and of course, Top Reds and FSG to play. RP in the house. RP. A lot of people call me a Top Red, my man. All right, let's get to it. Now I'm going to get John in 1 second. I just want to have a little chat with you guys first. So. Obviously, I haven't done a video since Thursday. So I've had time to stew on this. Looking back. Now, we got the midfield that we were all crying out for. Oh, no worries, John. Got the midfield we're all crying out for. And Elliot, Fabinho, Carvalho. So he gave us the midfield we all wanted. I've been saying it. I'd love that midfield. In our team. So we got the midfield I wanted, especially. It didn't quite work. Obviously, Carvalho got his knock. I don't think there's anything that's come out about that. I think he's perfectly fine. I think he had a dead leg. Knee on knee. It's going to hurt, man. Everyone has had a knee on knee tackle. Dead leg, man. Dead leg city. So I'm not surprised he went off. But it weren't working. We had chances in the game. We didn't finish our dinner yet again. Pickford pulled out a load of great saves, it has to be said. Especially, was it the Salah one that he tipped onto the post? I mean, Diaz hitting the post, Darwin Núñez having that, we don't play the Darwin Núñez his strengths yet. So I know a lot of people are calling Darwin Núñez out. For me, I'm not. We don't play to his strengths. Because he's 6'1", we think his strengths are playing the ball up in the air so he can header on. That's not his strengths. He likes to run into the channels, and we've not done that as a team yet. We got to start doing that. We got to play to his strengths. And for me, we're not doing that quite yet. Elliot looked decent again. Virgil probably was lucky not to be red carded, I would say. Diaz was, Virgil was probably lucky not to be red carded. Other refs on other days might have given it. I wouldn't have been bitching and moaning if Virgil got sent off. Let's put it that way. But we played crap yet again. We played terrible yet again. And whose fault is it? It's in the title, guys. This is the Liverpool show. This is you guys. You guys in the chat as well can give me. It's about everything. It's about the club we love here, guys. It's the Liverpool show. And I'll put it in there. Who's to blame? Who is to blame at the moment? What is happening with our club? I do not want to hear, and I can tell you right now, I do not want to hear transitional season. If I hear that, a few slaps up. This ain't a transitional season. We're not Leicester. It's not a transitional season. We spent 65 million on a striker. That's not a transitional season. Harvey Elliott been here for over 2 years now. Now he's a first teamer. It's not a transitional season. Yes, we got some new players in this team, but we're a quality side. We're a quality team. This is not a transitional season. What it is a few bumps in the road at the moment. There's a few bumps in the road that we need to sort out. And once we sort them out, I think we'll start moving. Do you know what the mad thing is? Guys in the chat, do you know what the mad thing is? That we have started this season appallingly. 9 points. It's an appalling start from our point of view because we demand much more than that. And we should demand much more than that. We're Liverpool Football Club. It's a bad start to the season. But the mad thing is that we're only 5 points behind Man City. That's the crazy, stupid thing about this season. I did say in pre-season, I think this will be the most competitive Premier League of all time because there's not very many bad teams in this league anymore. There's too many good sides in this Premier League now. There's quite a lot of good sides in this Premier League that are very, very capable of taking points off people, of other teams. Very capable. And to be only 5 points behind Man City with the naff start we've had and all the injuries we've had. We started this season with hardly any midfield. Our midfield is completely gone. Matip didn't start this. We lost so many players and defenders and midfielders and attackers that to be only 5 points behind Man City is a mad one. It's an absolute mad one. And for me, our players are coming back now. Now, Thiago's back in training today. I mean, for me, he plays. If Thiago's fit, he plays because the problem is with Thiago, there is no point waiting for him to get back to fitness. And if Thiago's fit, play him because you don't know how long you go with Thiago for. So if he's fit, Thiago plays. Jota's back now. Calvin Ramsey's back in training. So we've got a right back that can come in for Trent because Trent's been poor. Simicast and Robber, everyone's slowly coming back. Curtis Jones is back now. I know that don't give a lot of people in the chat, a big thumbs up, but he's a squad player who's decent. So we've got players coming back, and I don't think it's the end of the world. I think things will start to pick up. I see what I've got a couple of super chats. I've just starred them. I'll get them straight away, guys. Give me 1 second. I just saw what Jamrock says here. We're 6 behind Arsenal. We're the leaders. Yeah, that is true. But what I said about Arsenal will always be the truth about Arsenal. Arsenal are mentality weak and they're flat track bullies. I've been saying that all along. Once Arsenal play a decent team, they will lose. and that happened against Man United. By the way, also in pre-season, when I did my Premier League preview with all the boys on the show, I did say Man United could get into the top 4 this season. By the way, I did say that, and I still stand by it. I always said it. This Man United thing, right, about being pulled out of the flames and being made great again and all that, it's all bull. You know, you hear all Man United fan channels going, oh, my God, yeah, we're coming back, we're coming back. The problem is, Man United never had a bad team. The squad for Man United has never actually been that bad. It's the terrible coaching and managers that Man United have had. And I've always said that. They've always had quality players in their team. You had 2 or 3 or 4 here to already what they got. It makes them even a better side. And now they've got Ten Hag as a manager. Man United are looking decent again. It's as simple as that. I think the same will happen with Liverpool. I think once Liverpool get their players back into fitness, I think Liverpool will be a far better team. And we're going to talk about it today, though. We're going to talk about it today because there is things we need to talk about. It's not as simple as that. It's not as black and white as that. We need to talk about stuff. There's issues, maybe, I think, with the tactical part of the game at the moment. The coaching, Klopp setup. There's a lot to talk about, guys. And I've got a rant. I've got a rant with Liverpool fans and FSG. So I've got a rant about that as well. So that's coming up on the show as well. Let's get John in, though. Big up with John. How you doing, my man? You're muted.
Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, always, mate. I'm good.
I look forward to a rant because I think the rant could be directed at people like myself.
Oh, I've got a rant, man. Oh, yeah, it might be. But if it is, it's love to you anyway, so it don't matter. Big up John Conway, Jamie. How are you and your family? It was my birthday. Big up John Conway and your birthday. Big belated, but happy birthday to you, John Conway. And everyone in the chat, give belated happy birthday, John Conway. He's the man around here. Thanks for the super chat, John. Jamrock, thank you very much, Jamrock. City play through balls to Haaland. Same for Nunes. Yeah, we need to do that for Nunes. That's how we need to get Nunes. Darwin Nunes craves on running through the channels, and we don't do that for some reason. We think he's 6'1", so he's just good in the air. So we play the ball in the air, John. How frustrating is that when you're seeing that at the moment? Darwin Nunes, as we know, he wants to run into the channels. The only time we did that, he got the ball down his chest and he had that excellent shot. That was well saved by Pickford, wasn't it? That was the only time.
It's stands yet. We're playing Darwin Nunes thinking we're playing with Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch was a typical big lad, get him in the box, cross the ball in. That's not Darwin Nunes.
No.
Yes, he is a big lad, but give the ball to feet. Let him run through.
Exactly. He wants to run into space. He wants to run into the channels. Yeah, there's quite a lot we need to talk about. Yeah, we need at least 3 midfielders. I agree. UK Drilly, 3-year process. Magic Mickle put is zoot by a few process thing. Mohammed, how you doing, man? Like Keita throwing toys out the pram. I don't know if we see John. Do we see Naby Keita ever playing for Liverpool Football Club again?
No.
Because
Everton gets contract.
Yeah, he's obviously not. I think the contract is not going to be renewed, and plus, I don't think we should be giving him a new contract anyway.
I think there is a argument to say just terminate the contract, didn't I?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's
him and that just terminate the contract and get them off the wage book.
It definitely. I don't see him playing for Liverpool again. His injury, obviously, is going to be out for quite some time because he's not registered to play Champions League. Now, the Champions League registration, obviously, it's different this season because it's going to be contested in a very much quicker space of time. But that means that the club doesn't think he's going to be fit before the World Cup. And the Premier, I think the league stopped. Is it the 7th of November? Everything stopped, something like that.
Something like that.
And we're in September now, early September. So they obviously they think he's going to be out for some time if he's not Champions League registered. So that means he could be gone by January. And if that's the case, I mean, he should be gone.
Who's going to ban? Why would you ban?
I see him going back to Germany. I think Germany suits him. You know, where some players suit different countries, don't know their play. Like Naby's injuries when he was in Austria and Germany were like, I think combined in the 2 years he was at Salzburg and the 2 years he was at Leipzig, he only missed 12 games combined in 4 seasons through injury.
It's just the physical nature of the league. He can't cope with the physical nature of the league.
No. And maybe he can't handle Klopp's training either. That might be.
It is a shame because he is a quality player. There's no doubt there's a quality player in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's just not worked.
It hasn't worked out for him, unfortunately.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. KO says, I want it gone tonight. Oh, look at that picture, for goodness sake. He's made Klopp look about 27 stone. KO, thank you for the super chat, mate. I can't agree with you, unfortunately, but thank you for the super chat. And you're always welcome to your opinion on my show. I ain't going to slag you off for your own opinion. That's your opinion, my friend. Anfield Reds, we don't play through balls to Nunes. No, we don't. We also haven't got a Kevin De Bruyne behind him like Haaland does at Man City. That could also be a problem. Happy 21st, John. I think John wishes. What makes us Liverpool fans peed off is we rebooted Man United into gear from bottom of the table. Now they're above us. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did say I think United would be fine. Remember, John, I said it in pre-season. I thought United could get top 4. I've said it all along. United have always had a good team. They've always got good players.
Yeah.
They've just had bad coaching and management around them for 4 years. That's all it's been.
I still don't think they make top 4.
No. I mean, I think we will comfortably. I know a lot of people don't think we will, but I think we will comfortably. As I said, we're only 5. We've had this terrible start, and we're 5 points behind City. It's mad. I mean, it just shows. What it shows is, as I've said already, there's a lot of very good teams in this league this year. A lot of very good teams. Jack, John's popped right. Jack, you're welcome to come in, my friend. The DM is in the shared Twitter, my man. In the Twitter DMs, yeah. Go and have a check it out in the in Savage's Twitter DMs. Go and check it out. Yeah, I think he will, Mohammed. I wouldn't be surprised. We might do a little preview as well while we're here as well, because I don't know if I'm going to be live tomorrow, so we could do a little preview while we're here. He's going to get the Sacco treatment. He's going to get the Sacco treatment. He certainly is. I think Naby has fallen out with Klopp. I think he has. Big up Taylor. How you doing, Taylor? The ball right down to the staff and Klopp for being arrogant and stubborn to expect Thiago, Keita and Ox, even Artur is injury prone. Players stay fit for more than 5 games. They're always injured. Big up Taylor. I think the Naby Klopp brigade has burnt. Yeah. If you watch Haaland, he has zero interest in any build-up play, penalty box striker. He certainly is. That's exactly right, and that's what I think that's what we need Darwin to be as well. Just let the midfielders and the wingers do their job. But we'll get deep into it. I only just started here. We'll get deep into it. Big up Jamrock. I have said from the very minute that Naby was not injured, but people didn't believe me. He ain't injured. Big up to you. Anfield Red says our pattern of play has changed with Trent making underlapping instead of overlapping runs. Elliott not offering the cover for Trent when he's out of position. Anfield Red, I agree with your patterns of change about the Trent making underlapping runs. I don't know why that's happened, but with the Elliott, I don't think that is much of a problem. I mean, I do see Elliott getting back. Yeah, I agree with 50% what you said there, my friend. I agree with this. Yeah, sell him ASAP in January. Naby definitely isn't injured. He fell out with Klopp or something. I agree as well. I think there's something sus. They can't even get the story straight on the injury. Watch interaction with the journalist. They asked about Naby. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sadly. Yeah, definitely, Panel. Definitely. Ramel, 600 million turnover, and we act like mid-table team. FSG are poison. Right. As you guys know, with the FSG stuff, I am not this in-out, shake it all about kind of fan, yeah, with the FSG stuff, right? The FSG stuff is what it is to me. They're our owners. And then spot right. This is where I go, my little rant. This is where I go. I might as well do this little FSG rant right now. Big up Doug as well. I'll read that out in a minute. Doug's my friend. Let me read. I'm going to just have my little rant here, right? So this come out today, this new kit, which I'm still not, I don't know if I like it or not, but the new kit came out today, the third kit, and everyone on social media that I have seen are going absolutely nuts over it. Oh, this is gorgeous. I can't wait to buy it. I want this kit desperately. I'm going for this kit. I want this kit. At the same time, these same people want FSG out the company. Now, what I'm going to say is this, right? If we don't act like a club that wants their owners out of our club, we don't act like one. Everyone on Twitter will go hashtag FSG out when they say something. Hashtag FSG out. Hashtag FSG out. I'm even putting hashtag FSG out now just to have a giggle about it, because I thought, fuck yeah, let's just do it, right? We don't. I mean, John here as well will explain this as well, because he said this in the past. We don't act as a club that wants to get rid of our owners. We just don't. We just don't. You look at Man United, you know, they talk about it all the time. They've been talking about it for since the Glazers first took over Man United. Man United fans have been talking about it all the time. Granted, it's all gone quiet now because they're spending the money and they've won 4 games out of 4. So it's all gone quiet, granted. But we don't act like a club. We just don't act like a club who wants to see our owners gone. And this is why I don't get any FSG. I'm really getting tired of the FSG in, out, shake it all about stuff. Because as far as I see it, people who want FSG out, they'll go and buy this kit. They will then go and they'll get the home kit, the away kit, and the third kit, yeah? They'll also get the kits for their kids and stuff like that, right? So they get all the kits for their kids. They get the kits for themselves. Right, and they go from the club shop. They don't go from they go from source. Yeah, they buy from source. They go from the club shop, right? Then they'll update their season tickets. Then they'll update, you know, then they'll buy more merchandise here, merchandise there, right? And they'll sell out Anfield constantly. Anfield will be completely sold out every single week. Now, if I'm a club owner, I'm looking back, I'm sitting on, right, if I'm a club owner, I'm sitting on my chair at my desk, looking at this and thinking, "Where's the hate? Where is this hate? Where's this hate? Is it just a Twitter thing? If it's just a Twitter thing, I could just log off of Twitter and never have to log on back on, and I never see it again. Where's the hate? There's no FSG out songs. Never hear any. I never hear any FSG out songs. You never really say. You never see any big flags saying FSG out at Anfield when you're at the Kop or the Anfield Road, any of the stands, you never see big FSG out signs, or you never see a parade of people outside the stadium, FSG out, FSG out. When we did the Super League, Liverpool didn't really protest that much either against FSG and the fans. There still weren't really that much protest. There weren't any at all. And when John W. Henry apologised, everyone went, all right, he's apologised. Let's move on. So when I say about everyone wants FSG out, FSG in, FSG out, all this sort of stuff, I don't see no proof of it anywhere. People will buy the third kit. People will buy the home kit. People will buy the away kit. People will buy merchandise. People will still sell it. Anfield will be sold out. There is no songs about it. There is no songs about it. There is no fan thing. You know, you got the Spirit of Shankly and all that does great stuff in the community, but you got nothing like that. That's an FSG out sort of thing. You don't see posters anywhere. So if I'm an owner who owns the club, if I'm John W. Henry and owns the club, and I'm watching day to day and week to week and all this, I see nothing that tells me everyone don't want me at this stadium. If it's only on Twitter, I can just log out. I can just log out and I don't have to see it anymore. There is no proof, if I'm an owner, that anyone anyone actually wants the owners out. And I'm not saying people don't. People might want the owners out, and that is fair to you. But what I'm saying is, if you want the owner out, if you want the owners out, you've got to do better. Don't go and buy the kits. Don't buy the merchandise. Don't buy. Don't do it. Make protests. Write posters. Go hardcore. Get into it. Get stuck in. I'll be all with you guys then. That's what I want. If you guys want these owners out, do something about it. Write songs. Protest outside the stadium. Make sure the Sky cameras, the BT cameras, the ITV cameras, the BBC cameras pick you up. Get on Twitter constantly. Get on YouTube. Do your own channel. Do something that makes something happen. Because at this moment in time, if I'm the owner of this club, for me, nothing's happening. There is no FSG out. There is none of this. For me, it doesn't bother me. I'll go and buy the kit tomorrow because it doesn't bother me. They're our owners. There's nothing I can do about it. They own the club. Until someone comes and buys it. And by the way, if we sold to some people, I don't know, if you sold to Arabs, say, oil people that are completely got terrible human rights over in that country and just, behead people and chop people's hands off and everyone, you're not allowed to be homosexual or anything like that. And you can't be a normal person and have a normal day-to-day life because it's seen as wrong. But you don't mind them owning your club because they spend 200 million in transfer market, then you're all hypocrites. I get sick and tired of it. I'm not FSG out anymore. I'm not FSG in anymore. I'm Liverpool Football Club fan, and that is it. I can't be bothered with it anymore. If people have their own agendas, fly with your own agenda, and I'm with you. If you want to do your own agenda, go with it. I ain't stopping anyone. But if you want them out, this door, do it the right way. Do it the right way and make it so they can't come back. Because at this moment in time, if I'm John W. Henry, I see absolutely no proof that anyone actually wants FSG out of this club at all.
Would you say, Jay, it's the next one?
Over.
Yeah, but would you say it's like a make or break next 12 months for the owners, mate? Because I've spoke to you obviously since you started YouTube and obviously been doing YouTube a couple of years as well. And I think I've done a video about 3-4 seasons ago saying it was the had to back Jurgen Klopp to really challenge. And this is the greatest Liverpool manager in my lifetime, Jurgen Klopp, and he's massively been sold short by the owners. Even if we brought in 1, 2, 3 more players into this squad to really help Liverpool compete on a level with Manchester City, we know the financial backing, as you've alluded to there, mate, we all know. But we're not asking for 200, 300 million pounds in every single window. Yeah. There's money there. It's just not getting filtered to the right people and the right. And we had it with the Kabak and Ben Davies situation. We were scrounging round on loans and free transfers, and you can talk about players are not available at certain moments, but if you want to act like a big club, which we are, then put the money where your mouth is. If you want your player desperately, you put the money down. And I agree with you there, Jay. I'm under the same influence. It's the fact that you're basically paying 100 quid per head, and especially if you've got a family of 4 or 5, you're looking at 500, 600 quid for like the new kits. And that's just on one. And the current climate in which everyone in the world, in terms of financial, for everyone, it's crippling. And the club and every football club, left, right, and centre around the world, they take certain fans as absolute mugs, mate. And they do it every single season. There will always be people out there that will buy the kits if you want, fair play. But not everyone out there can afford 3 kits a season. And that's where the new ruling needs to change. It used to be, wasn't it, Jay and John? Was it every 2 years?
Every 2 years, you get your home kit for 2 seasons, didn't you?
Yeah, and then obviously it's like, so the money's there, mate. And I've joked a couple of times going into Anfield with my mates and that. It's like, we need to pay off Salah's contract some way. But I joke about it, but it's true. It's like we have to get the kits and all that, but that's the thing. People can get the kits if they want, but it's just frustrating, mate.
This is the only time when I've seen our fan base turn against owners was Hicks and Gillette. That is the only time I saw posters, I saw protests, you know, I heard songs, I saw it all. That was the only time, right? And what I'm saying is, with FSG, I agree with everyone. FSG should give Klopp more money. I'm not saying they don't. I think they should. There should be more money to go there. But I'm also at the understanding that Klopp and FSG work very well together. So if he's unhappy at something, then for me, I think Klopp needs to show that anger a little bit more and put a bit more demand, onto owners if he wants a little bit more. When you look at Conte at Tottenham, Conte went to Tottenham and went, I need money. I want players. I want this player.
He was willing to walk, wasn't he?
And,
like 6 months.
If you don't give it, I will leave. And I'm the best manager you've ever had at this football club. They gave him the money. Not only did they give him the money, they took the money out of Enoch. You know what I mean? They took money out of that and gave it to him. So, Klopp's not blameless in everything. He's not blameless. He's a human being like we all are. Everyone's got critical faults, I'm a great dad, but not the best husband. You know what I mean? We all have critical faults in our lives, and Klopp has critical faults. He's not sitting there going completely blameless. He's the one who wanted Milner and Hendo to stay at this football club. He's very loyal to certain players, and I can't blame him for being loyal, because you take loyalty and compassion out of football, then this sport is finished. Do you know what I mean?
It's the type of character he is, Jay, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's always
exactly. He's just that person. He's just that kind of person. And but yeah, FSG don't give Klopp enough money. I agree that we spent almost 80 million this summer, but we made almost all of it back. So it should have been a bit to go. Here you go. Let's buy some more to finish it off. I'm fine, but they did wrong by that. But at this moment in time, I just don't see anything unless the next 12 months changes. I mean, everyone's come out. The thing today on Twitter is, Liverpool go and make more money than Man United for the first ever time commercially when it comes out later this year with the expenses and all that. That's all cool, brilliant. But Liverpool got to keep that going for 5 to 10, 15, 20 years, a bit like Man United have done. You can't just do it 1 year and then the next year, you go 200 million down. You've got to keep that. You've got to keep that going. And if you keep that going, but FSG at the same time still don't give anyone money, Klopp money, then that's where I think everybody will be like, hang on. Now, you're making 600 million now from revenue for the last 5 years. You've got to start giving the manager a little bit more money than you are. Because if you don't, I think that's when it can go a bit crazy in the next 12 months or so.
If the FSG out is growing very, very big at the minute, I think there's a lot more people standing up and taking notice now and saying FSG out, was to have seen that Liverpool do make money and FSG just aren't spending it. I don't believe FSG spent a penny on Liverpool Football Club.
I don't mind owners not spending money. That don't bother me. I'm not bothered by that. I don't mind owners not spending money, because there's only 3 owners. Look, the owner that has spent the most money on their football club in the whole of world of football is the Inter Milan owner, and now Inter Milan have got massive money issues. So it doesn't actually bother me if an owner spends money.
No, but it shows we have money there to spend. There is money to spend. It's just not getting spent.
Yeah. So there's money there, and you should spend it. That I agree with.
Where's the money going to?
No, that I agree with. I totally agree. Look, I agree with all that. I agree with everything everyone's saying about there is money there, because there is. If there ain't money, what I want to see, the one thing I want to see from these accounts, so we always see how much Liverpool are making. I want to see how much comes out of the football club as well. So we always see, right, Liverpool made 600 million. I want to see how much money then goes out of the football club at the same time, because we never see that on the accounts. So if Liverpool are making 600 million, but 400 million of it is going out of the club, and there's only 200 million spare, then I can say right, you've got at least 100 million you can play with transfer fees at least. 100 million there you can play with transfer fees at least every single season. So you should be giving the manager that. And, and carry on that way. But we never see that part, do we? We always only hear what they make, never know what. Because let's face it, money comes out of the club. It's not, people get paid. There's all this stuff that, that come out of the club. So we need to see that as well before I get on. But I agree with you, John. I agree, Jack. I agree with everybody here. I'm not backing FSG. Yeah. What I'm saying is the people that want them out have got to start making their voices heard and just not on Twitter. Because I don't believe everyone on Twitter. I really don't. I believe certain people because I know them face to face, yeah? But people on Twitter, I don't always believe because I do think people on Twitter sometimes don't, when they write things down, they don't always say what they mean. They just want to be part of a crowd. Do you know what I mean? So they write this down and be part of a crowd and it makes them look cool and it makes them look good. And like, oh, Barry from on Twitter, you've seen him, oh, he's writing on it. He's writing in. Let's join him into our lot and put that out there. And, we've got Barry in with us now. And then you find out, Barry's a 14-year-old boy who has no idea what anyone's going on about. And he's just, putting things up on Twitter to be part of a crowd. This is what I'm talking about. The only FSG out movement I see is on Twitter. I don't see it at the grounds.
Yeah,
I don't hear it anywhere else. All I see is on Twitter. And if you want John W. Henry to sell up and leave, then you've got to do more than just writing a hashtag FSG out on Twitter. You really have. You've got to make it impossible for him to stay here. Impossible.
Something happened like 12 months ago outside the stadium. About 2 people turned up when I went to ground as well. So it's one thing saying it, as you said, mate, on Twitter. But the main reason I'm angling towards not the mouth, but there has to be some serious questions internally from the club. Because I think it was one of the lads, so someone's comments, apologies I've missed it, someone mentioned, we're not asking for 250, we're expecting like a 50, 60 million pound player. So we should just inject a bit of quality into the squad, like here and there. The fact that we won the Champions League, we went and got, 2 players, but it wasn't massive. But we're not expecting, but just improving quality. For the last 4 seasons, you're telling me Klopp has sat in his in the boardroom and gone, you've seen this happening. We can see it from a fan base looking from an outside point of view. Yes, we've improved the Kirby facilities, new training ground complex, 50 million. We've upgraded the 2 stands, which is great. That's all more revenue, and the more corporate boxes as well are going to be in the Anfield Road end as well. After saying they weren't putting them in the initial plans, but they are now. I'm not 100% on that, but so there will. It's the infrastructure. It's absolutely fantastic. I think we can all agree. The infrastructure in which FSG sustaining a business, probably better people out there in terms of business minds, in terms of discussing the financials of the club. But yes, we're doing well. But to stay at the top, and especially in sport and especially in football and teams, to stay at the top, you need to not spend loads of money, but continue to spend in the right areas. And yeah. Like, because United, we all watched that this weekend. We've all said, all of us laughed and joked, oh, it's going to be about 5-6 years. I'll tell you what, they will continue to spend money. And if they continue playing like they have, it's going to be about 2-3 seasons. If it all goes well.
Keep going a minute, Jack, right?
Oh, good. Yeah, Newcastle will be eventually here as well, chat as well, in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. Whoever does replace Eddie Howe, or he stays and gets him into the Champions League eventually. So, yeah, it's frustrating, and I can understand everyone.
It is frustrating. It is frustrating.
Rod, how do you deal with this, mate? What's your thinking of the whole picture?
See, what it is, and I'm like that as well. I mean, we need to know where this money's going, because there's always complaints about the fact that we haven't got money to do this, money to do that when it comes to the transfer. So we want to know where the money's coming, because we've accumulated a lot over these last 5 years. We have accumulated a lot of money. We've accumulated a lot of money, anything that. If Man United in the day, that's hardly been in Europe and everything that in the last 5 or 6 years and everything that, if they can go out and buy people like Angel Di Maria, if they can go out and buy people like, get people like
Anthony
Casemiro,
as
and
well, 86 odd
Anthony
million.
as well, and all these players and everything. Now, if they can do it, why can't we do it? Why is it we always say, oh, we cannot compete against Chelsea, we cannot compete against Man United, we cannot compete against Man City? We're not asking you to compete against them. What we're asking you to do and everything that is recognize at the end of the day, right, where the squad needs reinforcements and refreshing and everything that, and just put these players in. Do you know what I mean? There's players, all right. For instance, they could have gone out and got a player at the end of the day for £35 million, right? That's Matthias Nunes. They could have got him. Do you know what I mean? But they didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? They didn't want to for that. Why didn't you want to go out and buy a player like that? You always complain about the fact that you haven't got so much money as these other clubs and everything like that. You get a bargain. You get a bargain player and everything like that, right? And you don't get him. You've gone and got that Arthur Melo for that. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a good player. I actually quite like him from that. But you haven't initially spent any money. You're just getting him on loan and everything now and paying a certain part of his wages and everything now. There's only going to be a matter of time and everything now before Man United, Arsenal, do you know what I mean? Right, them teams that they get it right. When they get it right and everything that, and we're still getting it wrong and everything that, what then happens to us? Do you know what I mean? What then happens? I tell you what happens to us. We go slowly and slowly down the table and everything that. Do you know what I mean? And then we start panic buying to get ourselves back up and everything that. Do you know what I mean? Me, myself, and effort with this FSG thing, yeah, I think FSG's to blame, and I also think Klopp is to blame as well. I think they're both to blame. You can't blame one without the other. You can't, because the thing is about the thing that you got to think about it. Klopp's whatever's going on with the board and him not getting the right tools for his job and so forth and everything like that, right? Remember, he signed another contract. He's happy with what's going on at Liverpool. He's happy with that. Do you know what I mean? So he's not really going to make any changes. Do you know what I mean? So yes, FSG is at fault. Don't get me wrong, and everything like that. But Klopp's at fault as well. So if we're gonna rant at FSG, we also got to rant at Klopp as well. We have to hold him accountable, because if he sees a situation at the day, right, that he can't work with, do you know what I mean? And he's just going to be complicit in what's going on and everything like that, right? Do you know what I mean? He then becomes part of the problem. Do you know what I mean? He becomes part of the problem. So really and truly at the day, I'm expecting Klopp at the day to sort of come out and say, well, look, you know what I mean? I've been here for so long and everything like that, right? And so on, so on, so on. If you have to throw them on the bus, you throw them on the bus, because that's what it's going to take. Before there's a change in it, put it this way, it's got to get bad before it gets better. Do you know what I mean?
You're spot on there, mate. Yeah, sorry, there, Rod. So you're spot on there, mate, in terms of it will come to a point where Jurgen Klopp, as you said, mate, he will have to put his job on the line if it gets... Because I think all of us and everyone, all the chat as well, feel sorry for Jurgen Klopp. He's a miracle worker over the last 4 or 5 years. The fact that we've come a point off City with all their budget and everything seems, and obviously the Pep Guardiola world-class manager as well. And we've been up there, just behind City. But as you said there, everyone's played catch-up now. And we've got to do that next step now to get ahead of the other teams as well. And as Jay said, I'm surprised we've been very fortunate this season that we're 5 points behind City. I know we've played 5-6 match weeks, but it's still mad. It's still a bit mad.
Right, guys, before we carry on, I've got a lot of super chats. I just need to get through these super chats, guys.
Yeah, man, go for it.
So big up Doug as well. Naby and Ox should have been sold in summer. Honestly, so unreliable. I want them both gone and let Milner retire too. We show way too much sentiment. I agree. Yeah. And again, you got to look who that is. Is it the owners? Is it Klopp? This is the thing. We have to talk about big up Zabiri as well. This rant makes me choke on my breakfast. This is more FSG supporting statement. Thanks for calling out the 17 people who are FSG out. Big up John Moore. That's 17 people. FSG out or FSG in is a small minority on Twitter. It certainly is. That's the way it looks like to me. Dollar is money is there and has been is the transfers target rigidity. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to talk about that as well. Amen. Rods Ward wanted Nunes and Klopp did not. Yeah, apparently that's what came out from some journalists saying that Julian Walden transfer committee wanted Mateus Nunes, and Klopp weren't too fond of him.
Yeah, he said no. He said no.
And Robbie as well. Big up Robbie as well. Guys, the money's not there. Certainly, you haven't looked at the accounts with Company's House, which shows this investment needs to come from FSG's group. It's another look at it as well. And this ain't a super chat, but it was a comment that made me laugh. Our medical staff are on spliffs around the bike.
Stop that.
That just made me laugh, so I had to star it. I mean, yeah, of course you can, Doug. I'll send you the link on your DMs, my man. And I think someone else wanted to step in as well. I can't remember who it was, but I can't find them on Twitter.
Yes. On Twitter or in the comments.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we go. Questbowl TV. My man, if you're still around, if you're on Twitter, I will drop the DM in your Twitter. I just don't want to put the link in the chat today because I want to keep it quite, people who go on about spending haven't got a clue about business. That's why they are billionaires, and people on this chat are 95. I'd rather Klopp walked if it meant exposing FSG.
Yep, I'm agree with that.
Here's another one. When Klopp leaves, we actually spend more money.
I don't see that. I do not see that.
It'd just be typical, wouldn't it? Like, and he had that at Dortmund as well. I swear, Dortmund spent money after he got rid of Klopp as well.
Does that actually tell you that it might not always be the owners all the time?
Yeah,
I love Klopp. I absolutely love Klopp. Yeah. I wouldn't want any other manager to manage us. No one would. But
questions.
I come to think now. I look at it. He's been here for so long now. I do look at it and think sometimes. I think he wants a little bit more, but I think Klopp has a lot of targets that might not be FSG targets. So I think Klopp likes certain players that the transfer committee don't, and they
want one's there is Thiago, isn't it, mate?
Yeah,
like
I mean, Thiago's a weird one.
Thiago's
a weird one, ain't it? Part of me wishes we never bought him. Part of me wishes we never bought him because of his injuries, and that 25-30 million could have gone elsewhere. And also we would have got a better deal for Mane because they sort of did us a favour with Thiago, so we sort of had to do them favour back with Mane. So we shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. But look, that's all I wanted to say with this FSG. I don't really want to go on an FSG show. It's not really what I want to do today. I just wanted to put it out there that if people want FSG gone, if you guys want, whoever wants FSG gone, all power to you. I ain't going to tell you you're wrong or anything like that. All power to you. Go for it. But do more than just putting a few lines and hashtag FSG out on Twitter, because I can tell you right now, they ain't doing jack. They ain't doing nothing because all they do is turn their Twitter off and don't look at it.
That's what they're doing it.
If they turn your computer off and your phone off and you don't look at Twitter, seriously, guys, if you're John W. Henry right now, and you turn your phone off and your computer off and you're not looking at Twitter, would you know fans want you out of this club?
You ain't going to know.
FSG just look every season. Oh, we're Liverpool in top 4. Sound Champions League money. Are we competing in the top 4? Yes, we are. Happy days. I think FSG are happy to be in a top 4. I don't think the ambition from their point of view doesn't shout, "Oh, we want to compete for the title." The fact that with the money, for me, they're very content with being in the top 4. It makes the most revenue from a European game. I think you get 1.5-2 million odds for winning a group stage game, but yeah.
I'd also say at the same time, this might ruffle feathers as well. I might be the only one who thinks this. I don't think they're the worst owners either.
No,
I don't actually think they're the worst. Literally, if they just gave a few more quid to Klopp or whatever the problem is here, but if everyone on Twitter, if everyone looked at it and saw that, all right, the owners are actually giving Klopp more money, but he doesn't want to spend it, then everyone I think will be like, oh, okay, they are trying. There's proof that they're doing stuff, but so we're fine. This is what I'm saying, Jack. You go to games more than probably all of us here because you live right by the stadium. So when you go to games, if you're not on Twitter and you see these, you don't see these. Say you're not on Twitter, Jack, right? And you don't see the hashtag FSG outs. When you go to the games, would you know that fans wanted the owners out?
No, because I think when you go to the ground or if you're watching around the world as well, we all love Jurgen Klopp. He's the best manager, especially I'm 27. He's the best manager of our generation. We've been absolute dog under Roy Hodgson. We were poor for certain seasons under Rodgers as well. We want Jurgen Klopp to succeed. Most importantly, we love every fabric of Liverpool Football Club. We want us to be successful. And yes, Jurgen's took us to what, 3 out of the last 5 seasons to a Champions League final. That's unheard of unless you're a Real Madrid fan.
True.
It's madness. But we could have won a couple more trophies along the line over the last 4 or 5 years. We had 2-3 extra more players of added quality. We're not all Mystic Megs, but it would have helped massively in terms of the title run-ins, the Champions League runs as well, the current predicament in which we do find ourselves in, mate. I think when everyone goes to the game or if you're watching around the world, we all support Jurgen Klopp. I just wish the owners would support Jurgen Klopp in getting the right players in.
No, I agree. I mean, the one thing I will say, like I saw a comment out without Klopp, we're 7th or 10th. Like, I don't agree with that. I think we'll still be a top 4 team. I mean, I don't. I still think we'll be a top 4 team without Klopp because the players we got in our squad's too good. The players we got in our squad is too good. You can't go and say like I would be like 7th or 10th. It just wouldn't be the case. But
would them players come if Klopp wasn't there? Because Klopp
yeah. We're Liverpool Football Club at the end of the day. We got. I mean, Luis Suarez came to Liverpool without Klopp. Now we've had. I mean, look at our midfield when Rafa was there. We arguably, look, we all talk about how dead our midfield is, yeah? The best Premier League the best Liverpool midfielder I've seen in the Premier League era was under Rafa when it was Stevie, Mascherano and Xavi Alonso. That's ridiculous.
And Momo Sissoko as well, you know.
Momo Sissoko, and he was a great little player. And we won F-all. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. But I agree with what everyone's saying. It's not like we need... Yeah, exactly, Trudon. Trudon's gone on loan to Brighton. Big up, Trudon. I don't blame you, Trudon. Brighton are playing some great football.
I love it.
Maybe he might, Potter might need a bigger job, Yeah. Jamie, where was you before Klopp? Where was I? I was at home, mate. Oh, where was we before Klopp?
Getting the Berinis and that.
Yeah, but you can still say at the end of the day, when Klopp came to Liverpool, the owners gave him the right players to perform. I mean, we can't all just go, Klopp performed a miracle. I don't believe in this miracle BS. Klopp performed a miracle, yeah? Right? You look at his starting 11 when Klopp took over, right? Shocking. James Milner's still there, by the way, and so's Endo. But shocking, right? Absolutely shocking. Then he came to Liverpool Football Club and he needed this player, that player to do what he needed to do to make Liverpool great again. Yeah, he couldn't do it with Lucas Leiva and Emre Can in the midfield. Shock horror. He couldn't do it with them two in midfield and Barini up front. It just weren't working. So he went to the owners, I need this, and this. And he got them players. You got Alisson, arguably the best goalkeeper in world football right now, at this moment in time. It's an argument to say he's probably the best in the world right now. You got Virgil van Dijk, might not be having a great season at the moment this season, but he's still one of the top centre-backs in world football. And he had the greatest centre-back display I've ever seen in that season when he came runner-up at the Ballon d'Or and should have won it. Never seen a centre-back like that in my lifetime. You got Trent, who we all say is generational, now we want him out. You know, Robbo, who was arguably one of the best left-backs in world football. You have Matip, who's one of the best free signings we've ever made, and is such an underrated centre-back. You know, you got Mo Salah, who's the best right-sided forward in world football, probably. You know, we had Mane at the time, who was arguably the best left-sided footballer in world football. Bobby Firmino at the time was easily, apart from Messi, the best false nine sort of player in world football. You know, no one was doing what, apart from Messi, who made it famous and popular. No one was doing what Bobby was doing in that false nine position when he played. You know, these players came because the owners still had to give Klopp the players to play with to get where he was. Klopp couldn't do this with Emre Can and, you know, and Lucas Leiva in midfield and Nathaniel Klein at right back and all the Lovren at centre back and Mignolet in goal. And, you know, he had to get the right players in. So the right players came because the owners gave them players. You know, so we can't always go, right, it's all because of Klopp. Because if it was, then he wouldn't have got all them players and he would have done it with Emre Can.
Yeah, but
he would have done it with Lallana.
But would you say Liverpool at that time and period, though, due to the global fan base, we're not Bury Football Club. We're Liverpool Football Club, one of the biggest entities in world football.
Yeah,
so even before FSG come in, there was money still available because there was a global fan base that would always buy the kits and would always be on television on Sky and BT now. So the revenue was always there for me when I look at that. But you're spot on, man.
When Man United were winning the Premier League year in, year out, Liverpool spent more money than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I know this was before FSG, but Liverpool spent more money than anybody. And
Rafa did, didn't he?
We wasted millions beyond millions beyond millions because, as I keep saying all the time, it's not how much you spend, it's how well you spend it. You know, if I get a brand new Porsche and my next door neighbour gets exactly the same Porsche, but I spent 50 grand less on it, who's the winner? Do you know what I mean? It's just, you know, that's what I always say. Like, we forget we have spent. I mean, if you look at I think there was a stat not too long ago, the biggest spenders in Premier League history since 1992 till now. I think Liverpool are in the top 5. Liverpool are literally in the top 5.
Yeah.
So
I'll just say
so much money.
I'll just say, Jamie. Sorry to cut across you. I'll just say, Jamie. I always say anything like it's quality, not quantity. It's always going to be like that. Quality, not quantity. There was a time at the day that Rafa Benitez at the day was spending money because going out of fashion, and it's just literally buying shit players and everything like that. And that's why when we bought Andy Carroll and everything that I think that was the straw that brought the camel's back, because that's when they got in the transfer committee and they obviously got tight with the purse strings. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, right, is this, right? Klopp is not a shit manager. He's a good manager. He's well renowned and everything that, right? So he should be able to identify certain players at the end of the day around the globe and everything that can improve our team. If he can't do it and everything that, right, get a director of football in the club and everything that to do that and everything that, to identify these players and everything that. So we're not going out there and spending massive amount of money on like 10 players when we can get 5 that can do the job and do the job well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's all about how you spend your money and where you spend the money. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But what's actually happening at Liverpool at the moment, which I find very perplexing and everything that, is the fact at the end of the day is like we need certain players for certain positions and everything that, right? And they're just not coming in. They're not doing it. And consequently, at the end of the day, you have to play James Milner at right back when you're trying to chase sort of like the game. You're playing James Milner at right back and everything like that. It's all these things at the end of the day that happens at Liverpool, right? That you think to yourself and everything like that. All you have to do is just go out, identify the right player to fill the right spot and everything like that, right? You don't have to spend massive amount of money. Just get the right player for the right spot and everything like that. But they don't do that. When we accumulate certain money and everything like that, and we feel that that should go into the to club for transfers, it doesn't. Because remember when we won the UEFA, when we was in the UEFA Cup and everything like that, yeah, and we come like obviously we come runners up and everything like that, right? What it was, the owner said at everything that we can't really spend any money and everything like that because we're not in Europe. We wasn't in Europe and everything like that. When we do get in Europe and everything like that, and we do win the fucking thing, we still don't spend the money. So you know what I mean. We can't win. Do you know what I mean? You have to sort of like go out there and identify the right players for the right spots and everything that can take you. Do
you know why we didn't buy spending money like that season?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Klopp didn't want spending it.
Well, there you go. So then what happens then, the Jamie at the end of the day, right? Questions got to be asked, not just at FSG, they have to be asked at Klopp as well. Klopp has to come into that equation. We can't leave Klopp out and everything because, all right, you know what? He's come to our club and everything now. He's got to play in a different way. We've won the Champions League. We've won the league for the first time in 30 years. And we won the FA Cup and we won the league and everything like that, right? He's still got to be questioned about certain things that happen in Liverpool. He cannot get a free pass. It doesn't mean we hate him. It doesn't mean we want him out. Do you know what I mean? We need answers at the end of the day of why we go to Goodison Park and everything that, right? When arguably probably a better team and everything that, and come out with a draw. We want to know why at the end of the day, sort of like in the first 6 games, I do believe, 6 games and everything that, we've only got 2 wins. And that one of them at the end of the day was against a team at the end of the day that we should really beat and beat well. Next one at the end of the day, Newcastle and everything that, we made it harder. We made it really hard for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? But we got the victory and everything like that, and then the rest were draws. Do you know what I mean? It's draws and a loss. Do you understand what I'm getting at? So
I agree.
we need answers.
No, I agree. I mean, a lot of the stuff, you know, with the in-game management is not to do with the owners. That's to do with the manager.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, because I haven't done a video since Thursday, so I've had a lot of time to stew on everything. If I did a video like Saturday afternoon or did the watch along, you know, I probably got monetized and been like dragged off.
I would have been done as well.
But you know, I've had time to look at it. We always draw it out. We always usually draw it Everton. I mean, it's not.
The last 11, is it?
Yeah. So I'm not shocked that we drew at Everton at Goodison. That ain't shocked me because that always happens. We always draw at Goodison. So that's not something that shocked me at the end of the day. But what you're saying is right. Like in that game, because I haven't really spoke about that game, but I'll get to it. What I'll speak about the game in a minute. I just want to get Cav's point because Cav's here as well, and so let's get Cav's point on everything as well.
Jay, you're gonna have to fill me in. Sorry, I've
right,
been
fuck
listening.
off,
I was in, and then I got a call, and then I jumped back in, and you lot were talking about Klopp, so I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, what we're going on about before all Klopp, about the FSG stuff and all that. I don't know if you heard about all that.
Okay. What, with regards to spending on transfers and what have you?
Yeah, and what I was basically going on about so my rant at the beginning and everything is about the FSG at the people that want FSG at the club, yeah. And what I basically said is that if I was John W. Henry, I would see no proof that anyone wants me out of this football club because unless you're writing FSG #FSG out on Twitter, where is there proof that anyone wants the owners out of this football club?
Yeah.
And as Jack said, Jack goes to games more than us as well, and he's there a lot. And as he said, he goes to games, and there's nothing there that shows you that anyone actually wants these owners out of the football club. It's not like the Hicks and Gillette time. I don't know if Jack went to games back then, but he might have been young.
Oh yeah, no, that was like.
But that was vile, wasn't it? That was vile, Jack. You had protests, you
campaigning
had banners,
from left, right,
you had
centre,
campaigning everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of all the different communities joined, didn't they? And you know, wanted them out. I think Spirit of Shankly was helping out at the time as well. Yeah. You know, there's all this help. You know, but with FSG, there's nothing unless it's on Twitter or Facebook or some people on YouTube. There's no real. You don't know.
Do you think the FSG out has got a lot of following? Then do you think that's a big talker at the minute? Because I'll be honest, I know people are upset at the lack of activity in the transfer window, especially towards the end. I didn't realise the FSG out movement was that big, though. I'll be honest. It's difficult, isn't it? Because like, whilst I agree we should have perhaps signed a couple more players this window, and particularly the midfield, it's combined with some bad results, which I don't think you can really pin on FSG. I think you have to pin them on the players and the coaching team. So, yeah, I mean, where are they going to see this FSG out sort of I know John Henry's on Twitter, but I don't think he's dropping
He's
into
just
Liverpool.
got to log out of that, ain't he? And then you
Yeah.
don't see anything.
Yeah, but like I know I'd like with. I don't, in fear of repeating myself, obviously the guys in the chat have probably heard me say this a few times, but like FSG won't see this start to a season as a particular crisis or anything. FSG will be of the belief that I'm paying one of the best managers in the world, and he tells me he loves his coaches, so I've just gave them a new contract as well. I've got a recruitment team that have been quite successful over the past 5 or 6 year period. And the team is competed for 4 trophies last season. So why am I, if they're aware that we've had a bad start to the season, because I wouldn't even be sure that they are, why would they look at it and go, oh, we need to do something now? They don't think like that. They're not fans like us. They don't care that we're drawn to Everton. Like, they'll care when it gets to the end of the season or towards the end of the season and they realise that they're not in the hunt for any trophies. At that point, they might realise, hey, is this as successful as we perhaps thought it was? You know, but at the minute, there's too many good things going on for FSG, i.e. the stands being developed and the new training ground and best coach in the world and compete for all these trophies, as I've just said, for them to actually think something else is going wrong. So, nah, they're not going to, back to your original question, Jay, they're not going to know anything about this. They're not at all, you know. No. But look, if the Liverpool players pull their finger out, right, because I don't think any of them, bar Elliot, Ali, that's about it, have played up to standard. And the same for the coaches. If the coaches actually pull the finger out, because yes, I accept they've got injuries, but you're telling me that they can't get results with the players that have been left they actually have available? They definitely can. So I think when those, you know, pieces of the jigsaw puzzle sort themselves out, then maybe you can start questioning FSG, but then people won't, because Liverpool will be back being successful again. So it's, I don't know where you go from it. I think people have a right to be upset at the team not being strengthened as much as it perhaps should have been in the summer. But now we're into the season, it's like, I don't know how much you can keep having a go at FSG, because what we're left with is a team that should be competing. And at the minute, they're not. So.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I'm just trying to find. Sorry, Doug. I'm just trying to find your Twitter, and I'll send you the link.
Do you believe, like, obviously we've seen it with Chelsea, that there are buyers out there? Do you believe if FSG decided to sell up Liverpool, which I don't think they are anytime soon, just to give my opinion, but do you think there's potential buyers out there that will
I think if FSG sold tomorrow, it'll be the biggest sale in football history. I think Liverpool would get close to 60 billion for Liverpool. I think that's what they want. They want 6 billion. The difference between Liverpool, right, because everyone goes on about the Red Sox and all that, yeah. The difference between it all is that baseball and all that is a very North American-based sport. It's not a worldwide product. Now, with Liverpool Football Club, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, is massive. Liverpool Football Club all around the globe. Is massive all around the globe. Huge all around the globe. Massive. And FSG will look at that. I think personally, FSG, if you could ask FSG privately, you can only hold on to one of your sports franchises and buy no more sports franchises. They'll hold on to Liverpool Football Club because it's a worldwide product. Where baseball, I don't know a lot about baseball. I'm an Englishman in London. You know, as far as I can see, it's a North American thing. I think they do play it in Japan as well, to be fair. But I think it's more of a North American real sport, and it's not going to have that worldwide appeal like Liverpool Football Club is in football, because football is a worldwide sport. It's the biggest sport in the world. So if FSG, I think that you asked them privately and you said you can only hold on to one of your sports franchises, never buy another sports franchise. They'll hold on to Liverpool because it's going to make the most money for them. And so I can understand why people get a bit annoyed as well with that fact as well. But we've got my man here as well. Big up, how are you, my friend?
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good to see you.
We're doing well. We're doing well, mate. We're doing well.
Right.
I wanted to say something, Kev. I think you made a comment about they don't care, and that type not true. There are certain type of owners that, yeah, they want to win, and I'll give you one of them, John W. Henry, Chelsea new owner, because ever since he bought LA Dodgers, they're competing every year. I mean, this year they're so far ahead that they can rest players. So he put a lot of money, as you can see what he's doing with Chelsea, to win. W. Henry, when he came to Red Sox, their goal was to break that, that 82 years of World Series, right? So, but I think one thing that I think Liverpool fans needs to do is we need to understand how football is run. We can't just keep saying they're not spending money, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. People are forgetting that there's something called FFP. And maybe I'm wrong, but please, somebody let me know if I'm wrong. No owner is allowed to spend their own money. Otherwise, PSG, CD, and some of these nation states will blow everything out of the water. So from what I understand is you could only spend what you bring in.
Yeah, that's true.
Hence the reason why there's that sell to buy thing going on, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a great myth about Chelsea thinking that Abraham was spending money left and right. The only time Chelsea went back-to-back was when Mourinho was there. After that, FFP kicked in. And that's why if you ask true Chelsea fans, they will tell you they get frustrated with even Abraham because every time they win, he doesn't spend more money for them to stay up. And then they end up going back down to like 6 or 7, right? So there is a big myth about how Abraham is spending money. Was spending money. Now, when it comes to City was also the same thing until FFP kicked in. Now look at them. They went after Virgil. They said it was too much. They stopped. Recently they went after Cucurella for 30-something million. They backed out. Why? Because they're also following the whole FFP model where you can't just overspend and thinking that, we overspending. Look at PSG now. UEFA is about to investigate them again for overspending. So before we can really, really, really go hard on the owners and say, why are they not spending? We need to understand how football works. The finances work.
I agree, yeah.
We bring in a lot of money, but also Liverpool is also spending a lot of money outside of the team. We just built a full stadium from, what was it at 45,000 is almost at 60 now, right? We built a new training center. I know John would be like, AXA, but no. AXA is sponsoring it after it's built. So you can't just say, I'm going to take your money and build a new training center. What happens if I don't build it? So I have to build it for you to be able to give me some money. They're not paying for the whole thing. They're just paying like a fraction. And then after 10 years, they can renew and then it keeps going. So yes, John, eventually they will pay it off. But that's part of the smart business that Liverpool is doing. Right now, Liverpool does not need money from John W. Henry like we used to collect from Jill. Right now, Liverpool can spend its own money. This is where we need to also look at Klopp, because the money is there. He chooses not to pick certain players because Klopp is particular. He wants specific players. That is the frustration with me.
But such cost, brother. Such cost. I think that's what we were saying. I think that we're also saying that today Klopp is to blame as well. Not just FSG, Klopp is to blame as well. And the thing is about the thing that whenever we do bring in revenue to the club, i.e., sort of like winning the Premiership, winning the Champions League, going on that run in the Premiership, getting to the Champions League final, and so forth. This goes on. I think that money at the end of the day is not deployed into the transfer market where we need it most. Because we're badly needing players at the end of the day in our squad and that to plug holes in our team. That's what it is. We don't want FSG to go out and spend 200 or 300 million. We don't want to do that. All we want and everything that is stop putting square pegs in round holes. Because we keep on doing that. We keep on playing James Milner as right back, left back. We keep on doing that. Do you know what I mean? because we haven't got the players. Players are maybe injured, players are this and maybe that. You need you need to do in the fact that you've got to think about with this. Overseas, one second. Let me finish. Overseas that day, right? We've neglected our team, yeah. And what it is now, we left ourselves with too much to do now. Do you know what I mean? Right. Now we need abundance of players in the fact. What you do and everything that each season and for that, right? You don't have to buy a lot of players. Just buy one or two players in your team and everything that. And before you know it, and everything, you can go a transfer window without buying nobody. You know why? Because you're sorted. You don't need to buy. At the moment in the day, right, we are 2 or 3 windows behind everybody. You know what I mean? Well, yes, to the top 4, yes, to the top 4 or the top 6. We're 2 or 3 windows behind. Now, for a team like Liverpool, that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable for Liverpool to be 2 or 3 windows behind us from that. Because I remember the dark days. I lived the dark days of the 90s and the America. Because at the end of the day, right, I'm not ashamed to admit my age and for that. I'm 53 years old. I'm 53 years older for that. So I remember the dark days. I remember the day that we was called the banter club. Everybody was banting us. And I think that I do not want to go back to the dark days and for that. And how you prevent that, when you get a good manager in and think that, right, you fill up the holes in the team and everything that, right, and you buy 1 or 2 players every season and everything that, so you see your team and they can always be refreshed and everything that. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, everything that, we're flat and we're devoid of ideas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so that's what it'll come down to.
Well, one thing real quick. I think that is where my frustration is because Liverpool was 3 years ahead of everybody, so we could wait. Right now, there's too much money in the league for us to be waiting and say, oh, we're going to wait for Jude next year. That part is frustrating me. You know, we could wait for Virgil. We could wait for Keita. Konate, we should have never waited for Konate, but we did. But right now, I don't think we should be doing that plan. And I think that's what I talk where the frustration is with most of the fan base is this thing of we have to wait. We can't keep waiting anymore because people got money. Now, whether they're buying the right set of player, they're just buying the players, right? Klopp always wants to, okay, I didn't get Jude because the plan was I'll get Schwamini and hopefully try to get Jude. But if we don't get him, we'll wait till next year. Hence why he kept Milner. Milner is there just to help the young players, professional purposes. It's not for him to play. The fact that he's playing is very frustrating. He's supposed to be there to make sure because the man is 500 years old, winning the Lactic every single year. That is to show the young guys we have a standard.
Yeah, you know? So, I agree.
I mean, that thing is, I think we need to restructure our transfer policy again. I don't think it has to do with spending. I think it's just how we do the whole thing of waiting. Yeah. If we don't get this player, we're going to wait. I mean, let's be honest. Salah Mane was not our first choice.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
I agree with all your points you made with regards to the off-field stuff. And that's the point I tried to say the other day was that when FSG look at it, they're making improvements around the club as a whole in terms of the infrastructure, the revenues improving, Nightdale, stadium and stuff. What's been neglected is from our point of view, is the amount of signings that we make. But when I think about how FSG may look at it, they won't agree. I mean, I'm with you, Rods, that we are perhaps a transfer window behind, but you could kind of say that for every summer for the past few years, right? But they did make signings this summer. So when FSG look at it, they're looking at it going, well, you wanted Nunes and he was 65 million. I gave you him. You wanted Ramsey. I gave you him. You wanted Carvalho. I gave you him. So from their point of view, we are adding to the squad and they're not the football experts. So when Klopp and his team are coming to him saying, I want this backup right back. I want this young Uruguayan forward is going to be a star in the making. I want Carvalho much the same. They're not questioning that. They're going, what you came to me to ask for is what you're getting. Now, the money, quite clearly, doesn't stretch far enough to get more additions. And that's where Klopp's then being made to be particular about what he wants. But I agree, we needed more signings. I agree we're probably a few transfer windows behind. But FSG won't look at it like that. They
They won't.
simply won't
They
be.
won't.
They'll
They
just
won't.
see the signings they have made.
You say, you know,
Let me just say big up. Sorry, John. Let me just say big up the Doug who's joined us as well.
Hey,
Hello,
dog, how you doing?
hello, lads. You all right?
Yeah, man.
I don't
Right, go on, John.
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah,
Well,
doing good, mate.
we have spent 65 million, yes, but Liverpool's made all that money back. So where's that money went to?
Yeah, but
Salah's contract. Wait, what?
that's the thing, John. Like, there'll be FSG will look at Liverpool as a business, and there'll be different facets of the business, and they'll have assigned so much to the transfer kitty, and they'll have signed so much to pay off wages and the stadium and this and that training ground.
Owners of all, we will give you back what you bring in on sales. Now we've brought in over 65 million in sales. So where is that 65 million going to?
Well, I assume, and it's never as straight cut as this, but that's what's being used for the transfers that we've been paying out, and that the other money that we're generating is paying for the other aspects that we've discussed. Now, I think that the money coming in is probably still above the money going out, maybe, but I'm probably naive in this, but I'm holding faith that when the stadium's done, right, that Liverpool are preparing for summers ahead where they actually do spend money, because they, in their mind, have got the infrastructure in place there where the revenue's good, the sponsorship deals are over a number of years, and that's good, and they can concentrate on putting money into different areas, i.e. the transfer kitty. And they're probably looking at the football as a whole, and looking at like the growth of Newcastle, and looking at the new investment of Chelsea, and looking how Man City will continue, and think, if we want to continue to compete with these guys, we can't spend early. We have to build everything else around the club to be able to compete in the future. It's the only way they can, because as far as we're led to believe, they do it in the right way, not by getting a made-up company to sponsor a sponsor on the sleeve and give £300 every summer. That's,
No, you're right what you're saying, but if we leave it too late, we could fall that far behind. That when we do go to try and catch up, we can't do it.
That's the risk. Yeah, that's the risk. But like I say, they'll look at the
That
fact
is the risk.
Four trophies last season and think that risk ain't there yet. Maybe in a few years' time, but certainly not the following year. They could be wrong in that.
And people also.
I'm with your man.
Manchester
I'm with your man over here.
Ahead of us.
I'm with your man over here still. I think at the end of the day, the structure of the transfers and they need to be looked at. They need to be looked at and everything that, and as they restructured and everything that. Do you know what I mean? Because you can do all the things that FSG can do, all the things that they're doing, but still have a healthy transfer window. Do you know what I mean? So I think we got to probably look at the transfer sort of like how they do the transfers and probably restructure it in a way that that's going to be acceptable. Do you know what I mean? Because the main problem, obviously, at the end of the day is transfers and stuff like that. And as sort of like John pointed out, I mean, Cav, you made a very, very good point. You made a very good point for that. But as John pointed out, that it might get to a situation in days that when you're ready to do that, it might be too late. Do you know what I mean? So I think at the day now, we have to look at the transfers. You know what I mean? And how they're done, and probably restructure it in a way that's gonna keep us sort of like in good stead, because we don't want to fall too far behind and everything that, and leave ourselves with too much to do. That we don't want to do that, because we'll be fucked. Excuse my language. We'll be fucked. So I think getting a transfer that day, so it has to be like the way that we do transfers has to be looked at, restructured. Even if we have to bring in a director of football or something like that, do you know what I mean? We might have to go down that road of looking at that and that. Because if players at the day are being suggested to Klopp, good bargain players being suggested to Klopp, and Klopp's turning around and saying, no, I don't want that player. I want to wait for Bellingham, knowing at the day you could only get him to next season and from that. Something has to be looked at then. Do you know what I mean? It has to be looked at.
We need to stop Bellingham. Bellingham is not coming to Liverpool. He's going to go Real Madrid. I'm sorry, he's not Bellingham will not be a Liverpool player.
He's not the answer to everyone's questions, is he? To a low block on his own. You can't run straight through the team on his own. It's going to be like about 3-4 midfielders, isn't it, boys? Thiago's contract ends in 2 years. Naby's gone this summer if he doesn't sign. Ox, we all know the name's Milner. So every club that we go to in January or the end of the season, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, sounds. You need money. Yeah, 100 million for him. So
say Toxic Harvey Elliott was at Dortmund. How much would Dortmund be demanding for Harvey Elliott?
A lot.
Right now, 75 easy.
Would you pay 100 million for Harvey Elliott right now?
75 million.
He's not worth 100 million.
But you see, then maybe that's where Liverpool fans, we also need to hold our L and say, stop saying we need a midfield. We need a midfield. Klopp went on TV and say, I will buy a midfield. Every midfielder became 100 million.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't like to talk about it, because as soon as he says anything, now everybody just rubbing their figure. Yep, they need somebody. I'm pretty sure they went after Casado. But Brighton was like, okay, last minute deal. Remember the same thing with Carroll. Somebody mentioned Andy Carroll. It was a panic deal, and Newcastle was like 35. So
we fucked up with that one, though.
Exactly. Yeah. So if we
fucked up with that one,
we don't mention his name.
Talking about we need players. Guess what? Everybody's on Twitter looking at what's going on. You know, you got people like Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville. I'm not saying anything that John, you're not saying. They actually listen to you and then go on Sky Sports and say the same thing because that's what's popular. And then, you know, and football directors like, okay, Liverpool needs a midfielder. As soon as you call me, oh, yeah, Jude, 150 if you want him right now. You know, you can wait for 100 next year.
Hey, I want to pay 50. I want to pay 50 million. Yeah, I want to pay 50 million for the players. Salcedo, the one at Brighton. Yeah. I want to pay 50 million for that. I think at the end of the day, he probably would be better than buying Jude Bellingham. They're round about the same age, you know. Round about the same age, and he's a very, very good prospect. If he's doing bits like he's doing bits at Brighton under Graham Potter, just imagine what he will do under Klopp. Just imagine. I would have given 50 million.
And I think we buy him in January. World Cup coming. So a lot of these teams spend way more money because some of these players are going to the World Cup. If they play well in the World Cup, triple their transfer fee. That's why a lot of people will spend. And then people stop looking at Chelsea. Chelsea, the owner has 1 or 2 more years before FFP kicks in. That's why he's spending 93 million on a RB Leipzig center back who's going to come next year. Because he knows after next year, they can't spend the same amount of money anymore.
Yeah, they have to sell. They have to sell a lot. It's like West Ham. Everyone's going mad that West Ham spent 150 million this summer. West Ham don't get in Europe, they're fucked. They literally are. If West Ham don't make European places next season with that outlay, they are in massive trouble because the players they bought want to play European football, and if they don't get it, they're in massive trouble, and they'll have to sell to make back that money. If Nottingham Forest get relegated, they're bang in trouble because they got 21 players to get rid of.
Liverpool can afford to spend £150 million. We can take that.
Can we, Lo? That's the thing. John.
That's a lot of money, though. John.
Can we afford to spend £150? This is what I keep saying. We always see the incomings.
We can afford to gamble.
We don't. We can't, though. That's the thing. We see the incomings of 600 million. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Whoa, 600 million! We got incoming." Yeah, we never see the outgoings. That is never planted on Twitter. They always say, right, Liverpool makes it. If Liverpool are getting 600 million, but then 400 million of that is going out the team, then we can't afford to just waste 150 million.
No, I'm not saying we should spend 150 million. What I'm saying is we should be able to afford to take that gamble, a wee step bit further. We are doing.
I don't know if we can afford to take that gamble.
Are you sure? Is everyone here saying that Liverpool couldn't afford an extra 40, 50, 60 million pound transfer this summer?
Who knows? We might not.
Yeah, but John, why would they? Why would they take a gamble?
If you don't,
Because the truth, like, if you've got to look at the results of this squad, and the results of this squad is that they reached semi-finals of Champions League finals. They missed out on league titles by 1 point. They're not going to risk going into any form of debt, right? Or to get an extra point. They're just not going to look at it like that.
So when they're a football club, how big and how successful we are, we can only spend 70 million every summer.
I agree with you in the point that
So we're starting to we think we're a big club, but we're not acting like a big club.
Well, we look at the
John,
clubs
let me
acting
ask you a question. How does a big club act?
Well, if we look at the clubs acting like a big club, that's what I was going to say. If we look at the clubs acting like a big club, so you got what Barcelona are doing, yeah, right? FSG are never going to do what Barcelona are doing and put the club in that problem ever. Right? If you look at what Man City are doing, let's be fair. If UEFA did their job properly, Man City wouldn't be in the Champions League right now. If Man City,
PSG would be in a mess as well.
Yeah, and PSG would be in a mess. If UEFA actually did their job properly with Manchester City and actually got their paperwork sorted and gave it to the courts like they should have in time, Man City will be banging trouble. They've had a 2-year European ban, and because of that, the Premier League would have looked at them as well and put their investigations in, and they might not have been able to spend. City would have been banging trouble because they broke the rules. No, they broke the rules. Chelsea broke the rules, got a transfer ban. You know,
lifted, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what, and I agree with everything you're saying, John, but I think that's what FSG are worried about. They don't want to break any kind of like rule where it ruins the club.
Right,
and
but so the rumor is we bid 50 million for Casado last minute. So
yeah, we did. I think that's why we're getting him in January.
If we got him,
yeah, can we get him in January?
Yeah,
I think we'll get him in January.
I think
right,
we'll get him in January.
The only problem. Sorry,
Had we got him on the last day of the window, would you seriously say Liverpool are at risk?
Say again, John. Sorry, cut out a little bit at the end there.
If Liverpool's saying Casado for 50 million, right? Would you be saying that Liverpool are in trouble or at risk because they spent the extra 50 million?
No, but I'm not saying that, John. I'm saying like from the stability of that we can spend so much every season. That's what I'm saying. But I agree with you. It's saying I think we get Casado in January. I think that's a deal that will happen. Liverpool tried to get him last minute. I don't know why they waited last minute either. Weird. But they waited last minute and they waited too long. It was a bit like Carvalho last season, wasn't it? We wanted Carvalho. We went to buy him. It was too late. And then we sorted it all out later in the year. I think that'd be the same with Casado. I do think we get him in. I do think we get him in January, and he comes in January. Doug, how are you, my man?
Yeah, good, Jamie. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing good, mate. We're doing good. What's your thoughts on everything? on all what we spoke about so far?
Honestly, this whole FSG in and out thing, I'm sick and tired of it. Absolutely sick and tired of going on Twitter and seeing FSG out, FSG in. Oh, blame the owners, just shut up. Honestly, shut up. And I found out that the only person that's not allowed an opinion on Twitter is obviously me, because I said a thing on, what was it, Saturday? That said James Milner wasn't good enough anymore, and someone took offense to that. And blocked me. Literally, just blocked me. I'm going to say what I had to say anyway. James Milner is not good enough to play for this club anymore. I'm sorry, he's not. I think as well that we're given we're being too sentimental between players. We're too sentimental between Ox. I'm sorry, but Ox for me is out of the club. Naby can go. I think I read that he's had about 460 days out injured as a Liverpool player. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm not here. I will literally go to Liverpool, pick Naby up, and take him to the airport myself.
I would as well. I would as well, John. To be fair, I would as well. But I think we needed at least another 2 players in January, in the summer. Sorry, in the summer window. And you know, people can say like, oh yes, you can sign Jude Bellingham. He's only 19. He's a kid. Like, I think we're getting into this mindset that Jude Bellingham is going to be the one player that's going to improve our midfield. He's only 19, so he's not quite had that step up yet. And yes, he's playing in a very good I would say an average Dortmund side, because Dortmund defensively are absolutely shocking right now. And if I'm being honest, we could probably beat Dortmund with half a team, because I think defensively they're absolutely shambles. The other thing as well, we can all say Moises Caicedo is yes, we could get him in January. People are forgetting he's at the World Cup. He's Ecuadorian. He's Ecuadorian, so he'll be in their World Cup.
He'll be home early then.
It probably will be. It probably will be. But this is the thing. If he has a good World Cup, if Ecuador do well, then his price tag is going to go up and up and up and up. So I think we're sort of risking. And yes, I know people can say like Arthur Melo is a good stopgap signing. Let's say that he is a very good stopgap signing, but we should have had more eggs in the midfield basket this summer.
Yeah, I agree. Everything everyone's saying. I agree. Everyone's saying on this subject. Like, obviously, I'm the host, so I've got to play devil's advocate a little bit. That's my job. But I agree. I want more players in the team. I think we rely too much. I think there's too much loyalty. Although I do like loyalty, because you ain't got loyalty and compassion, then football's dead as a sport. So you do need it. But look, at the moment, to get midfielders in, we need the midfield space. And Ox, Keita, Milner. You might argue Henderson.
Not Milner.
You have to
be in this team anymore.
No. You have to question why Leicester City are struggling right now, because they have no space in their squad. Like I've been speaking to so many Leicester fans recently, and they've been saying the same thing. They have not been able to afford players because they had actually, I think, a 27-man squad, so they needed to get their squad down. So the fact that like Schmeichel's gone, Fofana, I mean, you know, petulant little shit he is. I'm sorry, excuse my French, but he is.
Monetization's gone there, Jay.
But what I will say on Leicester is that they're one of the clubs that are actually being investigated by UEFA. I think there's a full list of them. I think Chelsea are one of them, Man City are one of them, Leicester City are one of them, and I think probably West Ham. So I think clubs are now being a little bit more better with how they spend their money. So I don't want Liverpool to be in a position where we're getting financially checked by UEFA, because I don't want to be in that. And you can say what you say about Manchester City. You know, they've actually spent their money wisely this summer.
Yeah, they have. I agree. Right, let's get off FSG talking something a bit. I was about to say, let's talk about something a bit more cheery. Let's talk about the game. So
I was going to defend Milner, but I'll leave it because
fuck you, Milner.
I know I'm going to get yeah, fuck it.
No, I do love Milner. By the way, did anyone see Milner's tweet today? Well,
No.
the tweet about Milner, it basically made him sound like he's going to sign an extension to his 1-year deal. So
I hope he goes just to trigger.
Wait for that to happen.
The thing is, I'm going to have to do it right. Milner's not the problem. The fact that we have to play Milner is the problem.
That's the problem, yeah.
Exactly.
Milner is a sound person to have around your club, right? You need guys like him. And if you're playing in the League Cup, early rounds, send Milner down to take the kids out, right? You need a guy like him. If you're trying to play Premier League matches and win every single game, right, you don't want Milner. There's a place for him. Unfortunately, he's being made to play games he shouldn't be playing. Like, the issue isn't Milner. And look, I guarantee it, right? No, people won't like this, but Milner will play games this season, and he'll also play games where he does a job. Like you will walk away from games thinking Milner actually weren't that bad today. Like, so I get he's old, like he's not great. Like he can get skinned if he's put out on the right back position up against a pacey forward. Like I get all of it, but there is still a role he can play in this squad. Like I don't like this bashing. It's just it's a little bit unfair.
That's the Milner stuff right there. So James Milner says, I feel good. I feel good, and you're in for a long time retired, so I want to keep playing for as long as I can. And let's face it, there's worse places to be playing football than for Liverpool Football Club. So yeah, that man is signing a contract extension. I can't wait to see the world explode.
He's trolling people, man.
I love it. I love James. I'm with Cav. I'm with Cav. I actually rate James Milner.
I rate him. Yeah,
this might go against some people. I actually think James Milner is a better footballer than Jordan Henderson. I've always thought.
You know the funny things with the fans too. I quite remember a couple of years ago, everyone's like, "Why are we selling to buy? Why are we selling to buy?" Now it's like, "Get him out of here! Get him out of here!" What do you want? What do you want? You know?
Yeah,
I think the clear mistake,
he's definitely retiring at Liverpool.
Clear mistake the club made this summer is keeping hold of Keita and Ox. They should have replaced them two players. If they'd have done that well enough, would have options in this midfield, and no one would even talk about Milner because he'll be playing 10 minutes at the end of every game. And all we would chat about is how much of a great servant he's been to the club, how much of a utility man and useful man he is, and that he's so good to have around the squad because he sets the standards. Instead, the conversation's changed. It's why are we starting James Milner? Well, we shouldn't be.
Well, let's talk about the game because James Milner did come on in that game. So, obviously, it was Liverpool versus Everton. It was 0-0 at Goodison, where I said, like, I think there's been a lot of draws between Liverpool and Everton at Goodison in the Premier League recently. So, on the face of it, it's sort of the draw we always get at Goodison. So, it's not the end of the world. But the performance yet again, lads, wasn't great, was it? And this time we started with no high tempo, Jack. No high tempo to start.
And we all know that the one game, and we spoke, I think everyone, when we all done our shows, it was the Man United performance that we all seen and we were hoping. And there's no more toxic atmosphere apart from Old Trafford. That is like probably one of the worst grounds in England to go and play football. And it was, as you said, mate, the intensity wasn't there. But fair play has to go to Everton. You've got to credit them in certain aspects because they didn't make it easy for us one bit, did they, boys? And Chas as well. So, but as we all know, we played the best of our ability. We've got the possibility of winning any game of football, mate. But it was frustrating, really. The one thing that buggered me, and I don't know how you lads feel in chat, was I understand, and we're playing a game, not just Liverpool, but every team, and especially if we're playing in Europe, it's every 3 to 4 games. But Costas down that left-hand side, yes, he wasn't making the best chances created, but he was looking really promising. And the substitutions, I get we've got to balance it. Yeah, like it just stopped the rhythm and the whole momentum within that game. And it played into Everton's hands, I felt.
Well, let's get to it because we got the midfield everyone's been wanting, all right? So we got Fabinho, Harvey, and Carvalho. Look, it didn't work, but Klopp went with it. I'm willing to give things a go, and if they don't work, for next time you change it up. I thought Harvey looked all right again. I think Harvey's been our best midfielder this season. I don't care what anyone says. I think Harvey was our best midfielder. It's been our best midfielder this season. There's a lot of people that are down on Harvey and don't think he's that great. And they like, what does he actually do that's that good? He's an all-round midfielder. I actually think we got... Carvalho, for me, is not the midfielder that Harvey is. Carvalho is more of that. He's more forward-thinking. He wants to play in and around on the edge of the box, and that's fine. We've got to find him in the right position for Carvalho. I think that's why he looks really good when he comes on as an impact sub at the moment, because he's allowed to have that bit more freedom because we're chasing games so he can go and play in and around the edge of the box. So Carvalho's looking better because we're chasing the game. Klopp needs him to get into them positions. From a starting position, you can't play for me now, Carvalho and Elliott in midfield together with Fabinho because it's nice on paper, But in reality, unfortunately, you know, it just don't work. And obviously, Carvalho went off with his. I think he got a dead leg, didn't he, with that knee to knee challenge. I've not heard anything from. I think he's actually all right. I think he just had a bit of a dead leg. But we had Salah, Darwin Núñez started. Do you guys think? I'll go round everyone, starting with John. John, you there, man? No, John. Jack. We'll start with Jack.
Yeah, good one.
Jack, should Darwin Núñez started this game over Bobby?
No, the form Bobby was in, I would have went Bobby.
Okay, you reckon? What do you reckon?
Me? Sorry, guys.
K bold.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think he should have, but purely just because Bobby's would have played 3 games inside a week, and Klopp is never going to risk any more players breaking down. So, yeah, I didn't see an issue with it, to be honest.
Everyone else? What does everyone else think? Just go for it.
No, Bobby first. Then Núñez comes on 60th minute. Well, I do think that Bobby deserved the start because he's been awesome over the last 2 games. He's been very good. So I do think that sort of like Bobby should have started, and you bring Darwin Núñez to try and get you that goal. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, that's my thoughts.
He was.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was going to start with Bobby and then bring Núñez in, but Núñez has been out for 3 games straight, so he's trying to. But we need to actually really, really, really talk about the way we utilize Núñez. That shot he had, that Pickford saved, that is the reason why we bought him.
Yeah.
We haven't figured how to use that consistently yet. And when we do, he's going to be a menace.
Oh, yeah.
You know, right now we have him. So that's where the frustration is. And he wants to score. We need a player like him, you know. But Klopp right now is trying to be safe because this past month, all our players are injured. So he doesn't want to overuse Bobby because Champions League is coming. And, you know, it's going to be like that till November? Mm-hmm. So he's going to be on the side of caution. And with Liverpool, I think we're going to be like this till after the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. I understood why Bobby came out for Darwin. I understood it. And you got to remember as well, though, when Darwin and Jota are all fit and available, Bobby is 3rd choice in that number 9 position. You know, he has been, you know. Darwin's going to be 1st choice, then Jota, and then... Well, it all depends, actually.
Uh-huh.
If Jota gets into form, you know, and Darwin's still struggling, and Jota... Because we know how to play with Jota in the 9. This is the thing at the moment. We know how to play with Jota as number 9. We don't know how to play yet with Darwin Núñez in the number 9. And Jack, I want to get to you. Salah's new position that he's picking up.
Oh, don't we start on
that? What do you reckon that's about? What do you reckon that's about? Because he's almost playing wing back at times.
Yeah, we've all watched Salah for the best part of 4 or 5 years, haven't we, boys? Every team does it, and it's, of course, it would be Everton, Man United. When he's suffocated, Liverpool massively suffer within games. And quite rightly, he's our best player, one of the best players in Europe when he's at the top of his game. He gets double mans, 3 mans, 4 mans, and he's isolated out wide. But then it's up to the players, as we mentioned, Firmino, Núñez, Diaz, Carvalho, Zellets, to create that space that's preoccupied by those players being pulled out of position. It's interesting, but I think with similar players, like we've seen with Trent, over the last couple of weeks, we've had players that have not been in their peak form, and with certain other teams, like City, for example, they could probably have if De Bruyne has an off day or Mahrez, they've got good enough quality in their team to get them out of the mire, really. But if Liverpool say if Salah's off game, Diaz is off, you're looking at that team, and there's not really enough match winners for Liverpool at the end of the day to pull us out of the mire. But that comes back to the place in which we've lost. That game, to me, after the game, screamed Divock Origi or Sadio Mane. Like those 2 players over the last 4 or 5 years against Everton, or in big games where they've stood up and been counted for. But we haven't got not enough to bench now. Yes, you can talk about always having injuries, but apart from if we do have everyone back, we've got Carvalho, Jota, Firmino. You'd probably say the 3 attacking subs when everyone is eventually back. There's no one really, apart from Núñez, that Liverpool could play a different style of football. We've seen over the last 12 months, Liverpool continuously cross a ball into a box. Like, we all watched that Tottenham game back end of last season. I have nightmares of that game still, because that should be the poster of how to beat a Park the Bus. That was Ultimate Park the Bus. That was an Ultimate Boss or something on the game. Like, Christ.
Jack, shall I reveal a secret, right?
Yeah,
150 people watching, you're all going to hate me. I managed to get to a lot of Liverpool games since the turn of the year. And I was like, Liverpool playing quite well, weren't they? Then I was like, screw it, I've got to get down there. So I went to the Spurs game, and as I was driving down there, I said to my mate, I said, guaranteed, because I'm going, Liverpool going to drop points today. We're not going to win the league. And then they drew. Honestly, the hate that I've got from my mates since, there's like, do not go back. Do not go back.
Anyone else got any opinion on Salah's new sort of position he's finding himself in?
I think so. When Núñez scored 4 goals against RB Leipzig, that's the way we play, which stretched their defenders wide open. The good thing in that game was our midfielders were perfect, and we were able to find him. But we need to stop launching the ball at him. That one is very frustrating. Watch, every single time we get the ball, we launch it. I see why, but the thing is, we are not there yet. You know, and Thiago might help with Núñez, and Thiago coming back will help. But the same thing we say, we can't put all our basket in Jude. We shouldn't put all our basket in Thiago. We need to make sure that the team is working well, where even if Thiago is not there, somebody else is doing their job almost identically. So I want to see Melo being integrated into the team as soon as possible. You know, Fabinho, a lot of people are like, no, he's not. The problem with Fabinho, he's a one-man holding. So that means when the 2 8s are not playing well, he's going to struggle. He can't be, if there were 2 of them, he will be fine. But there's only 1 of them, so he has to go forward, back, side to side, like a compass. It's hard. This is 100 by 100 field. He can't do all that, you know. And last year he went over almost 70 games plus international matches. You know, this is where we all start looking at Klopp like, my man, what are you doing?
To be fair to Fabinho, I've been his critic recently, but I think Fabinho's starting to get a bit more up to speed. Fabinho's just a slow starter, man. You know, I've heard Fabinho's foreplay goes on for 5 days. You know, it just...
You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot.
It's just a slow starter, you know. It takes a while to get going. But, yeah, I think he's starting to kick on a little bit now. And when I look at City and the way they play with Haaland, because City are playing completely different to how they usually play. Everything's going through the middle now. You know, everything goes through the middle. Haaland doesn't have to be involved in any of the play. He's there to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's all Pep bought him for, right? So he's there to get on the end of things. And what Haaland does, he does have De Bruyne behind him, or a Gundogan or something like that behind him. Fortunately for Núñez at the moment, for Darwin Núñez, he's looking for them same kind of passes. He doesn't want to be involved in too much of the play, but he's looking for them passes. So at the moment, he hasn't really got the players behind him. I do think Melo and Thiago will help massively with that if we can get him into the team. Because you look at Arthur, you look. I watched him at Juventus. I watched him at Barcelona, especially when he was at Barcelona. I watched him there. He's a very good passer of the football. He's an extremely good passer of football. He's very tidy on the ball. He's got good vision. He's good at retaining possession. Something we lack at the moment. And who else is good at that? Thiago as well. And if you're playing them two with a Fabinho behind, not only are we going to be better defensively, because I've said this for ages now, Thiago is our best defender in our midfield. And it shows when he doesn't play. He's literally our best defender in midfield. And you put him with Fabinho and Melo in that midfield, I think it only helps Darwin Núñez up top. And I think it helps Salah's new position that he's taken up.
Yeah.
I think that's why, the game where he scored the 4 goals, Salah was picking up that new position and Thiago was in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what, I think Klopp's got, he's trying something a bit different because I think he knows Darwin's going to be his number 9 going forward for the year. That's his striker now. So we've got to change it up a little bit and we've got to let Darwin run the channels. So if you have Salah and Diaz coming in coming inward, then Darwin's got no channels to run into. So you've got to keep him out wide. To keep him out wide, Darwin's got to run the channels. But at the moment, we ain't got the midfielders that can supply him the pass that he needs because as much as I love Harvey, that's not really his game. Fabinho's a defensive midfielder and then Milner and Henderson, they're old school. That's not what they're about.
Too slow.
Yeah.
Artur can do that. Thiago can do that. The problem is keeping them 2 fit. You keep them 2 fit, you play them Fabinho, I think you see a totally different Liverpool team, guys. And for me, that's why I'm saying when they're fit, they play. There is no point waiting. If they're fit, they play. There is no point going, because everyone's like at the moment, Thiago's training, yeah? Thiago plays against Napoli. I don't care what happens. Thiago's playing against Napoli because he's fit. There is no point in being fit and then you don't play him against Napoli, and the next day he pulls up saying in training.
I was going to say, boys, you know what's going to happen? We're going to rush these players back, and in about 4 weeks, they're going to be injured again for even longer.
Can I just say something before I go? Because I've got to go in a bit. Because I've got to do my streams in about 30 minutes or so. No what it is, and that's very good what you're saying, Jamie. That's very good what you're saying. And I would love to play that. I mean, I could say the only problem with that would be keeping Thiago fit. Do you know what I mean? That'd be the only problem. But if you can keep Thiago fit and everything, that is a perfect way to play that midfield and everything. See, I was one of the people in the day. Well, I don't know if I say one of the people, but I was one of the people that sort of like when Optimism was coming in, I was happy because I think to myself, well, look, this is a player at the end of the day that can keep hold of the ball. Do you know what I mean? And we've lacked that sort of player that can keep hold of the ball and retain possession. Do you know what I mean? And like, do you remember way back when in the day we had people like Dietmar Hamann? Do you know what I mean? What he was able to do with the ball and everything that he single-handedly changed the way we played in the 2005 Champions League. He came on, he held on possession and everything that. He brought people in play like Gerrard, Smeetser, and whoever. He brought them in play. So like having a guy like Optimism that could be the key to us changing our fortunes this season and getting back to winning ways and everything. Because all we need to do really, when you think about it, if we can win about 3 or 4 games on a bounce and everything that, right, we get our confidence back. And once we get our confidence back as Liverpool football team and that, right, anything's possible. Anything's possible. So I think actually having a player like Optimism in our squad and everything, it's only going to do well for us and everything that. But he has to play and you have to utilize him to the best of his ability. You can't be playing in one game and say, well, you know what, I'm not going to play you this game. I'm going to play Henderson. I'm going to play Milner and that. You have to play these players and everything that and utilize him and get the best out of him to get the best out of it. And once you get the best out of these Brazilian players and everything that, anything's possible. Do you know what I mean? Anything's possible. So I was even talking about 4-2-3-1. If you played that 4-2-3-1 and you even had Arthur and Fabinho in the day as the 2 midfielders and everything that.
We played that against Everton and we were worse.
Well, we didn't play Optimism, did we? You know what I mean?
That is the thing. You are right. It's the midfield. Like big up Michael Ramsey in the super chat. I take it Michael is not a Liverpool fan. You're going back to the dark days if you continue playing the rubbish Elliot.
Harvey Elliott rubbish. I'll have whatever you're drinking.
Elliot
Jay Speeding is rubbish, mate.
Klopp is the problem, not FSG.
Jay Speeding, there.
I mean Jay Speeding.
I've got to go. Listen, I'll speak to you guys later. You know what, Jamie? Once again, another brilliant stream. I don't know how you do it, but it's brilliant. You know what I mean? I love your streams and I think that it's brilliant. Big up to all the guys in the chat and I think that in chat. Big up to all the panel and also like and subscribe. If
Please.
anybody doesn't like and subscribe, don't make me come looking for you. All right. All right. Take care, guys.
Big
Good
up,
night.
Rod.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, mate. Big up.
Cheers, Rod. See you later.
I mean, let's talk about this. This is something that a lot of people are. Honestly, I'm frustrated we didn't do a little bit more midfield business. But then when the window, I think a week before the windows, I made peace. And right now, I'm just focusing on supporting the team. Yeah, I'm going to lose my mind a couple of times, depending on how Klopp do his tactics and his subs. That happens every year. I'm a bigger supporter of Klopp, right? But one thing right now, I'm spending more energy in supporting the club, right? We also have to look. I'm only looking at City. No disrespect to Arsenal. Right now, I feel like we are only 5 points behind. And when we click, and that's why everybody is out here, bantering Liverpool, because they know what will happen when Liverpool clicks. It's going to be 10, 15 games straight. The same thing with City. City hasn't clicked yet. Yeah, Haaland is the one who's painting over their cracks. Let's be honest. They shipped out 3 goals back-to-back. That is no City-like, And we're talking about midfields and that. When Gundogan, Silva, and De Bruyne leaves, City are not going to find any players like that ever again. So that means they will have to change completely the way they play. The problem is their midfield is younger than ours. And we have to find a new set of midfielders to be able to change our style. City is maybe a year younger than us. After a year, Pep will have to find a way to change the system because he already changed it. That's why he has Cancelo and Walker tucking in and acting like midfielders. But then, what's the name? St. Maximin tore Walker up. I've never seen that happen before like that. So with Liverpool right now, if we're playing like this after World Cup, okay, then I'm throwing my shoes at the TV. But right now, I think we are still figuring things out. Klopp is still figuring things out. The players that he was expecting are not fit. So it throws everything out of whack. And it is frustrating, guys. It is frustrating. But come on, this is the same man who gave us everything we wanted. And you can't do what he does for not being stubborn, which is annoying, and not sticking to his principles. One thing that I know Klopp is at fault is his loyalty, which is something that makes him a great manager too. The loyalty that he has to the players. He will never kick a player out unless you do something like Sissoko did. The rest of them is, if you choose to leave, bye-bye. If not, he'll keep you. And that is where our midfield is getting older and older because he is not moving them on maybe a year early and keeping them, So, but in terms of the team itself, I'm not worried. I think we are right where we need to be. We haven't figured everything else. As poor as we play, and Man United, we had to play the worst game we have ever played at a club for Man United to win. And again, I'm telling you, I'm saying it again. Even when we were down, remember when I want everybody to go back and watch that match again. When we scored the goal in the 75th minute or so, man, I've never seen Old Trafford so quiet ever. Even when they're losing, they are never quiet like that. They will at least boo. But this one, they were so silent. I was like, wait, are they protesting outside or what was going on? Because every team knows Liverpool, all it takes is this. It's like Thanos snap, right? And then it's on. So, yeah, we are all frustrated. We are used to see Liverpool are here and we are playing here. It'll come. Klopp knows what he's doing. He knows this is not where he wants to be. All we need him to do is please just bring the players sooner than waiting a year.
Question for everyone. So, did Klopp get his substitutions wrong?
Yes.
100%.
Because, right, like I was watching, big up to the Coppish boys, I was watching their match reaction after the game because as I said I weren't live yet that day, so I was watching everyone's match reaction, which is quite nice because when you're not live yourself you can go back and watch everyone's match reactions and I enjoy it. You can see different people's points of views, and they like big up Cal, Matt and Drifty, but they said Gomez had a terrible game, and I didn't agree with that. I thought Gomez was having a fine game, and
he was man of the match for me.
yeah, I thought Gomez was having a fine game. What I didn't understand, I know now it comes out that Trent had a niggle, so he brought him off, and that was told at half time. But if you go and bring him off, for me, I would have put Gomez over at right back and put Matip at centre back and have better balance guys. So do you think I love James Milner, but I don't think he should have been brought on in this circumstance, especially play right back. You know, if you want James Milner to play, you want his influence a bit further up the pitch, don't you? That's where you want Milner's influence. So Doug, you were there saying you were just saying there you thought they weren't great. What was your when you saw it? What was you thinking when you saw the substitutions?
I couldn't believe Milner came on. I'm in agreement with you. I think Gomez should have gone right back. Matip should have come on as well. I don't think this game was crying out for Milner, to be honest with you. I think Jota for Nunes was right, because I think Nunes was getting a little bit tired.
Yeah.
But the substitution that didn't make sense for me was Milner for Trent.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that was the only disagreement I will have with Klopp. He should have waited for Milner and brought Matip in first, and then put Milner in the midfield. Because let's be honest, when Milner came in, he created 2 chances.
I also think Firmino should have started as well.
100%.
Yeah. You know, as much as we talk about Milner, he's the one who's been creating most of our chances. Like, so
it is mad. It is mad. Kev, what do you reckon, my man?
I agree with the guys. I thought it was the wrong substitution to make, but if I'm just trying to think of why Klopp made it, I think that maybe he thought that towards the end of the game, Everton would have sat back a bit more, and that all the pressure would have been coming from Liverpool higher up the pitch. And while still having Joe Gomez in the right-sided centre-back position, the threat of Anthony Gordon on the left would have been nullified by Gomez tracking him back. But as it turned out, Everton were actually still winning that midfield battle on occasion, and they were managing to apply pressure up the pitch. So then suddenly Milner was being isolated, and it was a mismatch. But the beauty is, he probably took that risk knowing that was a possibility, but also knowing he had further substitutions to change it again. So I get the risk, because had it worked and Liverpool been up the pitch pressing, Milner weren't having to do much defending, because it was just full on Liverpool wave after attack, which, let's face it, for as bad as Liverpool have been this season, that has been how we've ended games when we're chasing them. It would have saved having to bring Matip on, who is still coming back from injury, but it didn't work. So he rectified what turned out to be a mistake.
I agree. So I agree with you there. Here's one. This one's going to be. This one is really starting to be 50-50 now with a lot of Liverpool fans. So Robbo came on, and I love Robbo. Don't get it twisted. But Tsimikas has got a better relationship with Diaz on that left-hand side, as far as I could see when I watch him play, right, at this moment in time. Also, I know Tsimikas ain't in great form himself. I'm not saying Tsimikas is lighting it up at the moment, but neither's Robbo, right? And I love Robbo to bits, but the man lets crosses come in constantly. Soon as he came on, they got more crosses down that side than they did all game, because Robbo lets crosses come in. He drops back a little bit, and he always lets the cross come in. And I don't get why, because he never used to do that. He used to always hurry into the winger and leave his mark on them. Now he just lets them cross. And I've got no problem with Rob, but
Robbo's tired.
Robbo is knackered.
He looks shot, don't he? He does look shot.
That's the whole team. That's the whole team.
They all do look shot. The only ones who don't are all the new boys or the youngsters.
Yeah, the new boys. I mean,
they are the only ones.
It's not funny that 3 of the teams that did well in the Champions League last year are struggling in the EPL. City is not playing well. Let's be honest.
No,
City
they're not.
always start slowly in the Premier League, though, in a way. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not unusual for them.
Chelsea also is not playing well. I mean, we know they have different type of issues, but the players that were all supposed to be the tactical Tommy, shout out to Grace, players, they're not doing well.
I don't think he's lasting the season.
Yeah.
Who's that?
You know what I mean? So our players are knocking.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
Tuchel ain't
the
nothing.
injuries, Henderson is a muscle injury. That's hamstring. That's him being tired. Robo is tired. Robo's been tired for a long time, guys. And I think it's time where Klopp go maybe half of the season with Tsimikas first and then bring Robo in towards the end of the season so that he could rest a little more. Because remember, Robo also goes to international matches. You know, he's the captain.
Yeah, that's the big point. That is the big point. And obviously, me being Scottish, I'll know all about Robo. Robo played in 2 meaningless Nations League matches. He should have been rested for both of them.
And
He
played
should have
the
been
whole
rested
game,
for
didn't
both of them. Yeah. Played 180 minutes.
The only reason he played was because he was captain. That's the only reason he played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why? And because obviously Kieran Tierney was injured as well.
But Tierney's always injured, so that makes no fucking difference.
I suppose you've got Aaron Hickey to potentially come in as well, but
Yeah,
Robertson for me is just tired, and he will get back to his best. But I just think a spell out of the team would do him the world of good, and I think giving Tsimikas a running the team will do himself the world of good as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to go because I am preparing tea, so I will speak to you all later.
All right.
See you later, man. See you later on, Doug.
See you later. Take care.
He raises a good point, though, Doug. Like, you see the best of Simi when he's played a few games.
Yes, you need consistency.
Yeah, and it seems like it seems a bit mental at the minute that we're continuing to persist with Robbo, who's tired, and then you've got an option there who gets better with game time. It seems like surely just pull him out for a few, whereas now it's a little bit too late because we have midweek games, so it should have been done. Should have been done at the start of the season, I think.
I have questions for our fitness department and the equipment they use that can tell them that these guys are naked. I mean, I got questions.
I think the doctor's been sacked, hasn't he?
Yeah. It
makes no sense. I mean, even with Van Dijk is also tired. He's not. I don't think it's mental fatigue. The guy came in with adrenaline last year because of what happened to him the year before.
Yeah, he's
right?
boosted.
And then he played 60-something games with Liverpool plus international games.
Yeah, he's on his
tired.
arm.
At the same time, too, he's also trying to not get injured again because he wants to go to the World Cup. This is his last international tournament that he's going to go. He's never played with Holland anywhere else, you know. So
is he the Dutch captain? Is he?
Yeah, he is. So he's the captain for Holland, for the Netherlands as well. So I mean, yeah. Does everyone here think he should have been seen the red low?
You can watch back on my watch along. I said red. Yeah.
I was 50-50. Because
he
got lucky because he was on top of it.
When I watched it live, I was like, right, that's a red card. But when you look at it, the impact goes onto the foot, don't it? It hits the ankle, but then the impact goes onto the foot. And the fact that I think the fact that he wasn't running, that Van Dijk wasn't running, I think that's why he got away with it. But
well, if that decision went to VAR, he would have seen red.
Yeah.
It went to VAR, right?
Yeah, he went. I think he did go to VAR. Everything goes to VAR, doesn't it? Oh, let's start with VAR. VAR is VAR this weekend.
I've got a lot of Geordie mates as well, and they are fuming. After the game they had against us.
If it was the other way around, guys, we'd all be fuming, weren't we? I mean, it was a dodgy one. It was.
But also, you have to. This is where his greatness comes into it. The reason why Pogba got a red card against Naby was because he was on the ground.
He was totally different.
Van Dijk never leaves the ground. That is the reason why he could get away with situation like that.
I think that's why he got away with it.
Yeah. If he had slate tackled him, he'd have been a red card.
Let's face it, if he got a red card, I don't think any of us here are really like saying that's a bad decision, are we?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit naughty. It was a bit naughty. But I think the thing that he weren't running, I think is why it was a yellow card, because the impact weren't as bad. But it was a bad foul. It was a bad foul.
He left one on him because he did the same thing to Cavallo. That was
yeah, exactly. That is very true. So the midfielder look, as I said, obviously Carvalho went off and Bobby Firmino replaced him. Now, what formation did we play when Bobby came on?
My head
does anyone know?
my head was spinning.
Was we playing 4-2-4 or 4-4-2? Because I couldn't work it out.
I think we went 4-2-3-1, and Fab and Elliot went into the double pivot, if you like. And then it went to 4-2-4, I think, where Jota come on. But I mean, I don't know.
Because that's when it all went. Yeah, it looked like 4-4-2 for a while, didn't it? Because Salah was always up with Darwin Núñez sort of level for a little bit. Then they all went, no, we'll just play 2 in the middle and 4 at top. Then it went to 4-2. I was like, I don't know what we're playing. And if I don't know what we're playing, the players don't know what they're playing, how can there be any consistency on the pitch? It was.
But the thing is,
a weird one.
Like, these aren't my thoughts, obviously, because I love Klopp. But if we'd have seen Tuchel do that at the weekend, we'd be ripping into shreds.
We would be ripping, and I've been saying that. You are allowed to criticise Jurgen. It is allowed. You know, the man's human. He makes bad decisions.
People going over the top.
Yeah.
There's people out there shouting "clap out." That for me, that's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah. Oh, I've got KO here. Hang on. Big up the super chat as well. That picture of a fat Klopp does my head in. Makes me laugh. Stephen Stubbs blocked me for having an opinion. Sorry, man. I won't block it, but look, that's Stephen's channel. I mean, I can't do much about that. It's up to Stubbsy. It's up to Stubbsy, my friend.
You are entitled to an opinion, but to say clap out, in my opinion, is a reckless statement.
KO again with another big super chat. Big up to you, KO. Absolutely disgusting performance. My son won't stop crying. He's thrown his brand new LFC shirt in the bid and run off because we look like a pub team. I mean, go and get that shirt out of the bin for starters. They cost a lot. Go and get that shirt out of the bin for starters and put it.
Definitely got to be an Arsenal fan with too much time on it.
But big up for the
big
super
up,
chat.
yeah.
And
Nice
I'm not going to go.
One thing on the shirt, Stevie, you're saying obviously if you're FSG out, then don't buy shirts. That's all well said and done. But when you have young kids who obviously want the shirts every single season, they don't understand the ownership. They don't understand what that means.
All of us were kids, John, as well. Yeah.
So you're stuck. You have to buy the shirt because you're.
If I was FSG, my kid wanted the shirt, I'll tell him no.
I know, but then you feel.
I'll tell him go and get a job and buy for it yourself.
But then you feel as if you're.
No, because then I'll go and get him a chocolate ice cream and he's forgotten in 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
put the iPad on. You'll soon forget.
Yeah, I'll put Cocomelon on for him on the YouTube and he's absolutely fine. You know? I don't know, John. I do. John, I do get your point, my man. I do.
I have a question. Does this thing of don't buy the shirt even dent the club? Because
if money's not coming into the club, then they will see an issue with it. Because it's revenue, ain't it? Everything's revenue. If you stop buying everything and stop buying tickets and stop buying merchandise and stop any kind of revenue in the club, then that will start.
Okay, that one I understand.
As we know of FSG are very built on revenue. That's how they like to do business. So if you stop the revenue,
for it to really work,
business.
Yeah, for it to we have to do everything that Jamie said, and then stop watching the games.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I see Manchester. You see, this thing came from Manchester United fans. Don't go to the games. No. The stadium ticket is for the upkeep of the stadium. If you really want to hurt it, is turn off the TV. Don't watch it. Don't talk about it. Because guess what? Yes, they have made the money, but guess what? The commercials, right? The advertising. If there's no eyes watching it on TV, now when they go renegotiate, they'll be like, hey, we're not going to give you the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So not going to the stadium, yes, maybe the shirts, maybe, but you have to do a huge. Going on Twitter and screaming FSG out, and I see people making things up. It's not going to work because Twitter is just this much. You know, if we want to hurt him, stop watching LFC games. Don't go to the games. Let the commercial dip, and then they'll be like, okay, we need to do something about it. The reason why Manchester, they did something about it was because they were under pressure, right? They have a new manager. They don't want to go into a new season with the same thing that they did. And guess what now? When was the last time you heard Iglesias out?
Oh, as soon as they started winning games again, it's Gary always. They're like, yeah. I mean, Glazers. I mean, they take dividends out of their thing. I mean, what they do on that is bad. At least FSG don't do that, I suppose. But you know, that's mad.
But then we should not even feel sorry for them because when they decided to put the team on the market, they were happy because they thought it was going to bring more money in, right?
Yeah.
But if you put it, business, you put a team on the market, in the stock market, shareholders want their money. You have to take the dividend out.
Yeah. I agree, mate. I agree. Right, guys, look, we got Napoli. I'm not going to be able to do a video tomorrow, so let's talk about this now. So, Liverpool, Napoli. So we're going to Naples tomorrow for a big Champions League game against Napoli, who we're crap against all the time.
They're banging form as well.
They're good in form. I think they're top of the league, ain't they? Are they top of the league at the moment?
And they're second behind AC Milan.
Yeah, they're in great form as well. We're not in good form. Right, let's pick the team. Let's pick the team you guys want to see play, but then we'll pick the team that we think Klopp will play. It might be two different sides. Yeah, let's get the team up here. So when we're picking this team, guys, so we're going to go 4-3-3 because that's what we always play, let's face it. Right, we're all Ali in goal, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, left back, Robbo or Simicast, guys?
Robbo.
Right, hand up for Robbo.
Is this for us or do we think Klopp? Okay.
This is for us. This is for us only.
Yeah.
No, for us.
Yeah, the team we would want to play. Who's going to play left back? Simicast.
Yeah.
Costas at left back. Look at Ramsey's picture. Jesus Christ. Right, centre back partnership. Who do we want?
No, well,
Virgil back now.
Virgil still. I mean,
Gomez or Matip?
Matip.
That's it.
Yeah. I know where you guys are going to be going with this. Matip, right back.
Gomez.
I knew that's where you guys were going. Right, the midfield three.
Bob.
I'll put Melo at 6 if it's up to me.
Right, let's put Fab there because I think Fab's going to get the main shout. Yeah. Right, who plays the other two?
I think Melo
left. Melo left centre mid.
He understands. He understands
Italian.
Yeah, the Italian. He would have played Napoli before in the league, so.
And who plays on the other side?
Pointless in travelling, really, to Liverpool, weren't it? He should have just stayed there.
Who's the last midfielder, guys, you would want to play this game?
What's the options, Jeremy? Go remind us.
Thiago's fit now. He's training. Then you got Milner, Elliott.
Apple Milner.
Yeah, Milner.
Apple Milner.
I gave you guys such a chance, and you're still.
Yeah. I want to play Elliott, but I don't want to be running Elliott into the ground.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Had he have not got a knock, I'd have been starting Carvalho. But
yeah, well, I can tell you what's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Oh, that's filth.
That is disgusting, and it should happen.
Naughty.
Thiago, if he's in training and Klopp's happy with his training, Thiago will play.
If Thiago's fit, then he has to play.
Yeah, that would be the midfield I'd go in Europe.
He won't. I don't think he'll risk Thiago though. Like, as much as we want to win this game, it's not.
With the substitutions he made against Everton, do you think he had more of this game more in mind?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. 100%.
So does that make you feel like he thinks Champions League is easier to win this season than the Premier League?
Possibly.
Oh, it always is, mate. I think teams, it suits Liverpool, the tactics we've seen with 3 finals and 5. So teams actually come at us in Europe and in the Prem.
And it's easier for us to play against.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not this game then, but do you think that might be the Champions League midfield if they're fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends how well Arthur and Thiago do play together, because I think Thiago's best position is on that.
He's on the left, and Arthur's is on the left as well. That is the problem.
They might end up just being too similar. Like just from what I've seen of Arthur, he likes to drop deep and receive the ball and dictate play, and Thiago does the same. So they might actually be too similar.
Well, you could just do that.
You could do that
and play Thiago in the 10, like I've always been asking him to play. Because I think Thiago can play in the 10. I think because if you play Darwin Núñez and you've got Thiago in the 10, Thiago will have to run less as well in the 10, which will help him.
Yeah, but then one of Thiago's biggest strengths is from receiving the ball off the defense is playing a splitting pass to break the lines.
Yeah,
like it's no coincidence that like you see Virgil knocking that ball over to Trent and Salah, and the defenders being so tight that it's just not coming off at the minute. But when Thiago's on the pitch, that option's still there. But often he'll use the fact that Salah's being marked so tightly and thread a ball through into the centre forward, which no one else really sees. You know, it not just in our team, in like world football, people don't pick out the passes that he does. So I think you take away that strength from him if you play him as a 10.
Right, let's give Thiago a little break in. Curtis.
Is he back for this game? Is he?
Curtis was back.
Yeah, he was on the bench.
I think Artemelo will play this game.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect game for him to start in. I think it's easier for him to start in a Champions League game than it is a Premier League game at the moment. So I can see him starting this game, especially he's been playing against Naples, you know, and Napoli and all that. And it'd be more used to playing this style of football now than playing the hustle and bustle of a Premier League game next week.
Yeah. And for that point, I wouldn't pay
it's that third midfielder in, ain't it? It's this one. And we've only got Jones, Thiago, Milner, Elliott, Bishatic, and Carvalho. They're the only ones we got fit. A lot of these two prefer to play off the left. The only one who likes to play on the right, really, apart from Elliott, is Millie.
Ian Miller's going to play.
Yeah.
I think he will as well, because
he might look like experience.
How has this happened that with Curtis, Thiago, and Arthur now available, all of them want to play on the left in the midfield? How is this a thing?
So we'll go with that midfield. What's your front? It's not a terrible midfield, no. What's your forward line, guys? Who's playing number 9? Jota or Darwin?
Darwin. Yeah.
Or Bobby, see I say.
We need Bobby to start for the Saturday match, so I'll go with Bobby.
Because Bobby didn't start the Premier League game, and we got Wolves on Saturday, ain't we?
I'm excited to see Darwin, because I went to the second leg and I come out of Anfield going, "What the hell is this player?" I was like, "This fella looks something special," and I'm thinking, as we've said, he's did he get like 7-8 goals last season in Champions League as well? So he suits the competition, and I think he'll thrive, and we'll see the best of him in Europe, I feel.
Oh, you read my mind.
I got a feeling Salah might be rested.
You read my mind. I was thinking the same thing.
Call it what it is, Jay. Dropped.
I was thinking he'll probably drop Diaz instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Salah does need a rest. I know everyone keeps going on about, but we've got no one who can play on the right-hand side. I literally think Diaz can play on the right-hand side if we give him a bit of time. I think out of all of them, Jota can't. We've seen that. Jota is terrible on the right-hand side, but he's very good off the left and good in the middle. I think Diaz, given time, can play on the right-hand side because he's that technical, flashy kind of player. And I think he is. And he's right-footed anyway, so I think it would. It would suit him playing on the right hand side. I think he could do it.
I
What do you
think
reckon?
I think if that's the front three, I think Klopp would put Jota on the right. I agree with you. I don't think he's that great on the right, but I don't think Klopp thinks that.
No, you think it'd be something like that?
I think that's what if that was the front three that Klopp went with, I think that's how he would position them. Yeah.
I just don't see you dropping Salah.
I don't see Salah being dropped, but I think he does.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We can't keep playing the same three over and over and over and wait, and tire them out. They're going to need rest. And obviously, we got Wolves is the 3:00 game Saturday, ain't it?
It's another hard game as well.
We need a win in the Premier League. We need 3 points.
You can't keep playing the same team, but let's face it, we've got another pre-season coming up soon. So why can't they're going to get a good break during the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are. Salah definitely is. He's going to get the winter off, ain't he? So
because they're already fucked, John. They're not meant to be fucked yet.
That is a good point. That is a good point. So is that the front? Do you reckon that is the 11 there?
What a team that is, by the way.
Yeah.
On paper, that is a solid team, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you reckon that's the 11 that plays Napoli, or do you think Trent will still play?
I think Trent might come in, yeah. But I think I'd like to see Gomez play right back just to give Trent a rest in the Bruce. Especially if we could rest Trent and Robbo. That'd be massive for next couple of weeks because there is going to be mass rotation. And
we're playing
and
twice a
yeah.
week now, ain't we? Till the end of November.
So
well, Trent did get a knock, so I see him go with Gomez. I see him resting Trent for the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I would play Simi. I think we all agreed on that. I don't think Klopp will.
Right, let's go with Klopp's team then.
I'm playing Simi because I want to give Robbo like a proper rest.
Yeah.
And I want to give Simi, a guy that's not played a lot of football, a chance in the team. I don't think Klopp will see it like that. I think he purely played Simi to give Robbo a bit of a rest at the weekend in preparation for this game.
Let's go with Klopp's team.
He'll start Bobby as well.
Let's go with Klopp's team, guys. This is the team I think Klopp will go with.
Yeah.
Thiago for Milner. Yeah.
I think like you guys are saying, I think Thiago might. If Arthur or Thiago aren't playing, one of them have got to play on that left-hand side for me.
Yeah.
If one of them have got to play, there's no. For me, this is the perfect game for Artur Melo because, as I say, would you rather him make his debut in the Champions League game against Napoli, where he knows the style a bit better, or the hustle and bustle of a game against Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday afternoon?
I think you start to.
I like our lineup better than this one.
Yeah.
And my initial feeling, just seeing that team when you finished it, was that if he played that team, we can't really complain too much about injuries, you know. Like if we decide to roll out them same players again, it's not a surprise they get injured. Like you do have some options. You've got to use them. I know it's a risk, but any team we play at the minute isn't particularly performing. You've got to protect some guys. You know, you do have to protect Salah and Diaz to an extent. This guy's going to burn out at some point.
It's amazing how much. Look, we have got a change here. That's 1, 2. I think Artur's got to play because I just can't see him starting against Wolves. So
Konate's massive as well, boys. Isn't he? He was a monster in Europe.
Yeah, I think Konate almost starts every week when he's fit. I think Klopp's starting to think that as well. I think Konate's Virgil's long-time replacement.
You might even see when he's back, you might see the odd game where Virgil gets a rest as well.
Yeah, you can play Matip and Konate together, can't you?
Yeah.
Where is he? Yeah, I just don't know. That would be my front three when they're on form, but right now you can't keep playing them week in, week out.
Yeah, Bobby's in form as well. Bobby's in form, you know. It
Bobby's
won't
in form,
but Klopp
likes Darwin, and he likes Jota.
Mm.
And I
think once
Bobby's
everyone's
third choice.
Yeah, I think when Carvalho's not Carvalho, when a couple of players are back like Thiago, I think we'll see Carvalho utilised down that left hand side for Diaz. Would you say, Bruce?
Yeah.
Just being that replacement on the left wing, long
Yeah,
term when everyone's back.
Definitely. I mean,
it depends he obviously wants to win the game. It depends if he's looking at this going, it's the first game, it's away, let's be a bit more conservative, let's retain the ball and be defensively solid, and in which case he will play Bobby. But if he's going a bit guns blazing, kind of how I think he wanted to go against Everton, then he will play Núñez. I don't know. There's an argument for a few different options, isn't there? Like Núñez might even be better in like the Champions League because of that, better than the Prem because he's not quite up to the Premier League pace at the minute. So he might think, throw Núñez in to build his confidence. He's used to playing in Europe. I don't know.
This thing we've just gone through it here. There is a few more options there now.
The trouble with Núñez is he can't even control a balloon, let alone a football at the minute.
But we need, as I said, Núñez will be best. He needs someone like an Artur or a Thiago playing in behind him that can find the passes. That's why these two are playing this like this. That's why we play like this now, because we're trying to get Darwin in these areas. These are where Darwin wants to play, and that's why we're playing so wide. Because if the old school Salah would be here, wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Salah would play, and then you'd ask Diaz to come a bit inside. But if you do that, Darwin can't run the channels, and he can't come deep. That's not his position. That's why Bobby's so good in that position, because Bobby can come here, and it allows Diaz and Salah to play there. But if you want Darwin to play as a number 9 who likes to run the channels, then these two have to play really wide. But the problem with that's all right for Diaz, because Diaz is a natural winger. But Mo's not a natural winger anymore. He's an inside forward. And that's not his natural game. But that's what you want. That's what you want, because you want Darwin running here and here. You don't want Darwin out here like Bobby. That's not his game. You want him running the channels, running off people's shoulders and getting in the box. I don't want Darwin doing build-up play. I don't care about his build-up play. So I don't want him to do it. I just want him running the channels and running off people's shoulders. So to do that, you've got to play Diaz and Salah out really wide. But then you need the midfielder that can release the ball, which is an Artemelo or a Thiago. And he ain't had that so far. So I think that's Klopp's dilemma at the moment. That's Klopp's little dilemma at the moment. And but I think this is his front three when everyone's fit. I think that's his front three, and I think Thiago, Elliott, and Fabinho is his midfield three. You reckon, guys?
Yeah,
that's his first choice team, and then Tsimikas for Robbo, Trent for Gomez, and maybe Kanate for Matip. And I think that's his first choice 11 then.
Yeah. I think once it all clicks, boys, we'd be sound. But this period, it's very.
Once it clicks, we're good.
Click, yeah.
Once it clicks, we are good. But yeah, so guys, that's our Champions League little preview there, because I don't know if I can be live tomorrow. So I just did a little one there because I'm busy tomorrow with the kids and stuff. So it's not always possible. But guys, thanks everyone joining, and thanks everyone in the chat today. We're going to leave it there. We've been on the air for a while now, 2 hours 40 minutes, man. Jesus Christ,
flew by.
So we have got to leave, guys. Thanks everyone in chat. Don't forget to leave a like on the way in and out. All the good stuff, and don't forget to go and follow everyone. Go and subscribe to everyone's channels. Follow them on Twitter. You know, we've got a whole community here over in these Liverpool channels, and it's the best community on YouTube. Let's go. Let's say it is by far the best community, Liverpool. Score predictions, guys. Bailey's going 1-0. Score predictions against Napoli. John.
2-0.
2-0. Jack.
Don't go positive. It's Europe. I'm going to go 4-0, Reds. I'm going to go 4-0 uphill. Go ahead.
I love Jack.
7-0.
7-0. There you go. K was. What do you reckon? Bowl TV, my friend. What's your score prediction?
I know we will win. So however we win, it don't matter. I just want us to win.
I think that Osimhen might be out. I think he might miss this game, and he is a proper centre forward. So
he's a good player.
I'll be honest, I got to look into this before the game. I don't know quite what this Napoli team are like now. From what I have heard, they're not quite the same team that we've played before. So I don't quite know what to expect. We're not gonna. If we win, we're not gonna win. We're not gonna. It's not gonna be easy. 1-0 Liverpool. I'll go.
They're very aggressive. So
I don't know. Watch along last week, didn't I? Boys? Don't know if you tuned in. It was Napoli Fiorentina. Oh my god, the way I've never done got those 92 minutes back in my life. It was 0-0 the whole game, and Christ, like, well, I'm not saying it until after we played them on Wednesday. I know I've just said 4-0, but Christ,
I'm going 1-0. I'm going 1-0. I think it'll be a draw.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a draw. It depends on the team he puts out. If it's the team we picked, we win. If it's the team Klopp goes with, and look, as Cav said, if Klopp goes with that team that we think Klopp might pick, he can't moan about. He's got to start rotating. He has to start rotating more. I love him to bits, but he just has to rotate a little bit more. And if he rotates a little bit more, puts fresher legs out there, I think Artemello's got to play. He's got to start for me. It's the best time for him to play. I think you've got to go with Darwin. If you're playing Artemello, go with Darwin. Let him run the channels. You will find him with the pass. Gomez at right back, because if Trent did come off with a niggle, makes no sense to start him against Napoli. Just rest him up. Gomez is a decent right back. No, and he's better defensively. Let's just say it right now. He's better defensively. And then you go Matip and Virgil, who are a tremendous centre-back partnership. And go with Tsimikas. Tsimikas he's in a little bit better form, and he's got a better relationship with Diaz at this moment in time. And go with Diaz and just go with it and see what happens. But if he goes with that, we win. If he goes with his team, we draw. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm right. We fresh Napoli, and it kickstarts our season. Then we annihilate Wolves. Who, by the way, has got Diogo Costa. Is that the weirdest transfer of the summer? Diogo Costa to Wolves has to be the weirdest one of the summer, surely. I don't even know how old he is, because his passport's a lie. I don't care what anyone says. The man was apparently 26 when he was at Chelsea. He looked 42.
The guy's like 47.
man's a liar. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna say this. Call me positive FC. I'm going positive, because the lineup, the list that you just showed me, on paper we should win the league or a championship with that list.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are not healthy, but imagine when they all get healthy, which eventually they will. Because if they are not healthy, then we got questions.
Get them fit, get them on stronger inhalers, and we go.
Yeah, it will click. Eventually, it will click. And when it click, I'm telling you, man, people better beware. Guys, people who are worried, remember some time ago, Hull City, by December, they were what, top 2? Yeah. So come on, let Klopp do his magic. Remember, he's the same guy that everybody say, "Oh, just get this player." Klopp just have to sprinkle his magic on him, and that person will be right. So let the man do his work. All right.
I like positivity.
There you go, positivity. Positivity. We're going to fuck the Romans. Yeah, that's it. We're going to fuck the Romans. Liverpool going to beat Napoli.
Guys, we got this.
Naples, sorry.
Now, if in February we play like this, then yes, trust me, I will be there with the pitchfork. FSG out, Klopp never out, but everybody out except Klopp.
Arsenal do equal Hull. I told everyone, wait till Arsenal play a decent team, they will lose. Arsenal are flat track bullies. That's all they are. They're flat track bullies. And Gabriel Jesus is the most overrated forward in the Premier League. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Big up to everyone.
Everyone.